Leong, and Uchiha Leong were left with Lu Han. I have already robbed the treasure house of Iwagakure, but because I had an agreement with Lao Ai beforehand, I gave half of it to Kumogakure village, so the harvest of this operation is not as good as the one at Kurigakure. Lu Han said to several people. It should be like this, don't break your trust. Kaharu Udatane said immediately, with a big heart, the money is in hand, this is the most direct blow to Iwagakure. Ha ha ha, Lord Hengguang said that the harvest was not as good as that of Kurigakure. That's not right. 5 taels were robbed by us. This is more important than the money. Lord Hengguang's achievements are already comparable to the first generation of Lord Hokage. Uchiha Leong laughed, flattering Lu Han. The atmosphere is very harmonious. Not easy for Lu Han to go to the Hokage building now. Normally, he should hold a meeting now, but what about Wu Wei? Is there any way to temporarily resettle Wu Wei first? Lu Han asked after a few gossip with them. Yes, Kaharu Udatane nodded immediately, and he had the most say with Homura Mitokado because of his experience. You can summon ninjas who are good at sealing, you need. This way. After Kaharu Udatane finished speaking, Lu Han nodded and asked them to do it. The method is very simple, that is to seal the 5 taels. It is not sealed in the body of the human Jinchuriki column force, but is directly sealed on the ground and in the seal array. This is temporary, because the seal array itself does not have chakra, it needs the constant injection of ninjas to maintain it. The reason why the human Jinchuriki column force is it can be used as the carrier of the tailed beast because everyone has an extraordinary amount of chakra in Jinchuriki column power. 5 hours later, afternoon. More than 100 ninjas have been arranged in the square. These ninjas either have a large amount of chakra, or master sealing skills, or have some special secret skills. They will temporarily seal the 5 taels, and then implement a 3-shift system, taking turns maintain the chakra and reinforce the seal. Konoha ninjas presided over the seal. Although Lu Han knew of their existence before, he didn't know that their master could temporarily seal the tailed beast's ability. At dusk. With the light of the huge seal formation rising, the 5 taels were imprisoned in the seal cage. After Lu Han came into contact with Mangekyo's control over it, it became very irritable, and attacked the seal enchantment frantically, and the enchantment was shaken as a result. The temporary seal is very unreliable, but Konoha has a lot of people, and it is difficult for the 5 taels to rush out. After watching for a while, Lu Han left and went to the Hokage building for a meeting. After a while, in the conference room. Iwagakure village, and the situation in the land of rain, let's not discuss it. Lu Han glanced at the crowd and said quickly, there is only one topic for this meeting, people Jinchuriki column power. You can't keep the 5 taels sealed like this, there will be a problem. The problem, we have to find the right person. Quote. After Lu Han finished speaking, the conference room was quiet for a while. Uchiha Leong thought for a while, and suddenly his eyes lit up. Lord Hongguang, you can do it. Chapter 0757_person Jinchuriki column force candidate. Uchiha Leong is worthy of being Lu Han's caring little padded jacket. Although he sometimes turns into a pig teammate, it is a special case. Most of the time, Uchiha Leong can guess some of Lu Han's thoughts and tell him that Lu Han is not good. If so, say it. Along the way, it can be said that Lu Han spent most of his time thinking about how to arrange the 5 taels. For Lu Han, it is the best choice to seal the 5 taels in his body and make him become a 5-tailed Jinchuriki column force. After all, he grabbed the 5 taels, and he has the right to choose how to deal with it, but Lu Han is putting that he portrays himself as a great ninja who is dedicated to Konoha, and if he goes his own way, it will not be beautiful if he encounters opposition. More importantly, Lu Han didn't even know that if he sealed the tailed beast in his body, he would be able to use the sealing technique. Even if some sealing techniques did not have a master, he could exchange them, but he would be used as the carrier of the tailed beast. It is the party involved, and it seems that he needs some assistance to seal himself. Therefore, Luhan needs to use the power of Konoha to seal the tailed beast in the body of the human Jinchuriki column power. Well, I am indeed one of the candidates. After Uchiha Lei-young finished speaking, Luhan nodded. He didn't need to avoid anything. The 5 tails belong to him now. That is, I don't know if I am the most suitable candidate. Quote. Lord Hengguang's physical state should be the most suitable. Hyuga Huyang said. That's right. Kaharu Udatane thought for a while and nodded, looking at Luhan. Lord Hengguang's chakra is enough to suppress the 5 tails, and Lord Hengguang is strong and experienced in combat, and has no flaws in all aspects. Once the 5 tails are collected in the body, it should be able to use the power of the 5 tails as soon as possible. Agreed. Homura Mitokado nodded too. Inuzuka didn't even say a word, because he didn't need to say anything, and he was a boring gourd. Everyone else agreed. As long as he didn't object, he didn't need to say more. Luhan was taken aback instead. No one objected. Everyone was so unanimous, which exceeded Luhan's expectations. What Luhan didn't know was that he didn't understand how the attack on Iwagakure village had shocked the senior leaders of Konoha and the ninjas in the whole ninja world. Iwagakure village had never been attacked, because the large army couldn't fight, the small one. Shareholders cannot win. Luhan couldn't win against Iwagakure village, and neither could I. Even if Iwagakure village sent out the main force, it was impossible to win. He just raided the village of Iwagakure, robbed the treasure house, robbed the tailed beast, and got out. The shock brought by this crazy and incredible thing, even Kaharu Udatane, a ninja who originally had malice towards Luhan and was a die-hard Sarutobi Hiruzen, turned to pervert and serve them thoroughly, not to mention other people. Luhan pondered. He didn't make the decision right away. Because he was suddenly dissatisfied. 5 tails is good, one of the tailed beasts. If you can use it, you can greatly improve your strength, but if you compare it with Kyubi, 9 tails, there seems to be some gap. Luhan didn't expect to get his wish so easily. If so, what if I want Kyubi, 9 tails? Cough. Luhan coughed lightly and said, actually, in terms of my strength, the seal of the 5 tails in my body will probably not bring a significant improvement to my strength in a few years. I'd better find some candidates first. People, don't be in a hurry to decide right away. Quote. Luhan found a somewhat lame excuse. In fact, it doesn't matter whether there is an excuse or not. Luhan said this, no one would object. They agreed to seal the 5 tails in Luhan's body, which did not mean that they believed that the 5 tails must only be sealed in Luhan's body. The meeting just started and ended shortly after. Homura Mitokado is in charge of the search for Jinchuriki column candidates, and others can recommend to Homura Mitokado if they know of a suitable candidate. After the meeting, Luhan hurried home. Hyuga Luoning had already finished taking a shower, dressed herself up fragrantly, and cooked a sumptuous dinner. As soon as Luhan entered the door, she jumped into Luhan's arms excitedly, and became intimate for a while. Uzumaki Kushina was not there. Luhan and Hyuga Luoning Greasy were over, only to find out that Kushina was actually going to see King Mu of Wuwei. She was more curious about this than others because Kyubi, 9 tails, was sealed in her body. You have no conscience. Knowing that I'm back, I didn't wait for me at home. I hurt her in vain. Luhan muttered for a while, then went to the square in person and brought back Kushina, who was talking to King Mu through the seal barrier. Dinner is of course a joyous one. Meal, Kushina excitedly went to see King Mu of the 5 tails again. He was really curious and didn't know what to say. Luhan went back to the room with Hyuga Luoning, and after that, it was quite lingering. 5 days later. Tsunade, White Fang, Hyuga Haeyong and others who received the order returned to Konoha village one after another. The situation in the country of rain has eased. With the army of the Iron Country entering the territory of the country of rain, Konoha not only got rid of the crisis, but also in terms of military strength. Not losing to the Sand and Rain coalition, and Mifune is extremely strong. With him joining, it will not be of great help to Konoha. This afternoon. Tsunade had just returned, and he had to spend time with Luhan and tell each other about his experiences. Hyuga Luo Ning, who is very knowledgeable, went out to visit friends again, and left the space to Luhan and Tsunade. Tsunade was crawling in Luhan's arms and completed the mission report. After a few storms, Tsunade hugged Luhan's neck and said in a sweet voice, "Lord Kun, I heard again that Iwagakure suffered heavy losses this time, and lost a lot of money." Here, Luhan said nothing. The space backpack was empty again. Luhan left behind the gold and silver coins he got from Iwagakure, and gave all the gems and antique calligraphy and paintings to Tsunade. He didn't ask for anything else, as long as Tsunade was happy. After that, Tsunade turned his face and didn't recognize the person, and ignored Luhan, and excitedly went to carry the small treasury. Luhan got dressed, walked around to the Hokage building, and processed some documents in the Hokage assistant's office. Then, when he was about to leave again, Homura Mitokado's voice sounded outside the door. "Lord Cold Light. Come in." Lord Hangguang. Homura Mitokado pushed in the door, holding a scroll in his hand, and hurried to Luhan at the same time. "Find out a few Jinchuriki column candidates, this is the list." Chapter 0758 QB, 9 Tails, is better for me. There are 4 people on the list, 3 men and 1 woman, named Uzumaki Ang, Uzumaki Arena, Senju Rasta, Senju Ryoza. It's too neat, 2 Uzumaki clan, 2 Senju clan. How many Uzumaki ninjas are there in Konoha at the moment? Luhan asked with a frown after seeing it. There are no ninjas, they are all children. Homura Mitokado replied, since the destruction of Uzushiogakure village, the Uzumaki people who did not die in the war have been living in all directions. Because Uzushiogakure village betrayed Konoha before the destruction of Uzushiogakure village, they are Konoha's enemies, so they wander. The Uzumaki ninjas are not willing to join the Konoha village. Even if we take the initiative to recruit them, we can only find some very young children. Over the years, we have found a total of 8. Quote, "These 2, Uzumaki Ang and Uzumaki Arena, are the most talented of the 8 children." Homura Mitokado pointed to the names on the scroll again. Senju Rasta and Senju Ryoza are from the Senju clan. The 2 most suitable children selected from here, but they are not as good as the current QB, 9 Tails people Jinchuriki column Uzumaki Kushina. Time is running out. When we brought Uzumaki Kushina back to Konoha village, but in Uzushiogakure village after investigating for a long time. And now, with the destruction of the village of Uzushiogakure, we have fewer choices. Yeah, Luhan nodded, he understood what Homura Mitokado said. Because there is too little time, it is very difficult to choose another person who is comparable to Kushina's Jinchuriki column force. After all, this kind of thing cannot be made a big fan of. Whose body is the Jinchuriki column force sealed in as a secret? Come to think of it, Homura Mitokado also made excuses when examining candidates. Where are they? Luhan raised his head and asked. The 2 of the Uzumaki clan can be seen at any time. The Senju clan is in some trouble. They both have parents. I can't take them away for a long time without any reason. I have to make temporary preparations. Homura Mitokado said. Get ready now, I want to see them and inform Lord Kaharu of them. Luhan got up and said. After an hour. Inside the ninja school, in an idle classroom. Luhan, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyang and others stood in the corridor outside the classroom, looking at the 4 children inside. The oldest is Senju Rasta, who is 8 years old and has a strange name. It is said that he has something to do with his mother. The second is Uzumaki Arena, who is 6 years old and is a very quiet-looking little girl. Senju Ryoza is 5 years old, sitting in a chair is not honest, and he looks very curious. The last Uzumaki Ang, only 2 years old, is curled up on the bench and sleeping soundly. Luhan and the others watched outside for a while, then pushed open the door and filed into the classroom. 8-year-old Senju Rasta immediately became serious and looked very serious. Uzumaki Arena and Senju Ryoza also followed suit, just looking around curiously. Uzumaki Ang was still sleeping. Do you know who I am? Lu Han asked seriously. I know. Senju Rasta immediately replied loudly, a little excited, you are Lord Hangwang. Teacher Elena said that you are the most powerful ninja in Konoha, and you will definitely surpass the original Hokage Senju Hashirama in the future. Senju Rasta answered all the words. Uzumaki Arena and Senju Ryoza were stunned for a while and couldn't answer. Uzumaki Ang was woken up. A pair of round eyes looked around, then ignored it. Lu Han waited for the top of Konoha, turned over, and fell asleep again. How much do you love to sleep? The 2-year-old little guy, naturally, no one would call him rude. Lu Han walked up to Uzumaki Ang first, put his hand on Uzumaki Ang's small head, and the back of his hand lit up. Test it yourself. This check is in all aspects. How is the development? Are there any flaws? How are the meridians? Wait, there is the most important thing, that is body energy. These 4 children are either Senju or Uzumaki. Their physical energy naturally exceeds their peers. There is no difference. Lu Han wants to choose the best. This kind of inspection requires strong perceptual ability to get some feedback. At present, the strongest person in Konoha is Lu Han. His ability to detect the human body is not the strongest, but he is almost the same. He is the most authoritative in speaking and he should be Tsunade, because Tsunade is the strongest medical ninja in Konoha. Senju Rasta couldn't help but tilt his head to look over. He was very nervous, because Homura Mitokado found the reason for him to come here, that is, Lord Hangwang wants to choose a direct disciple. Checking Uzumaki Ang, Lu Hanyu walked up to Senju Rasta and motioned him to raise his hand, followed by Senju Liangza, and finally Uzumaki Arena. The first few are excellent, but compared to Uzumaki Kushina, they are too mediocre, until Uzumaki Arena. Lu Han took her hand, and as soon as chakra reached in, he was shocked. What a powerful life energy. On the surface, Lu Han remained calm. His expression did not change. He put down Uzumaki Arena's hand, and then said, let's go. Lu Han took the people out of the classroom and left the ninja school. Someone will arrange a few children, and Lu Han doesn't need to take care of them. How is it? On the way back to the Hokage building, Kaharu Udatane couldn't help but ask, which one is the most suitable? We can't wait any longer. In order to protect the seal, there are loopholes in the village's defenses. If we drag it on, there may be accidents. Go to the conference room. Lu Han didn't say it directly. After a while, Konoha's third conference room. In addition to these people who went to the ninja school before, Inazuka Lei, Uchiha Lei Young, and White Fang were also notified to come to the meeting. The best of them is a 6-year-old girl named Uzumaki Arena. Lu Han glanced at everyone and said, but there is a huge gap between them and Uzumaki Kushina, even the best one. If forcibly seal the tail beast on her, she might die. Lu Han was alarming. In fact, Uzumaki Arena's body was big enough to hold 5 tails, but Lu Han didn't plan to seal the tailed beast to others from the beginning. After Lu Han finished speaking, everyone in the meeting looked at each other, but they didn't show any nervousness. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Isn't there Han Guang himself? Then, Kaharu Udatane thought about it. The 5 tails can only be sealed in the body of Lord Hangwang. Lu Han was silent for a while, and then said, no, suppressing the tailed beast will affect my chakra control. In the short term, the strength will be regressed. Moreover, the growth of human Jinchuriki column strength is a very long period of time. In the process, once you become a human Jinchuriki column force, you need to communicate with the tailed beast, you need to adapt to the tailed beast chakra, you need to keep practicing, and you need to combine the tailed beast to perform ninjutsu, and gradually combine your own power with the tailed beast. Greater power. Quote. Isn't that bad? Kaharu Udatane asked suspiciously. With the talent of Lord Hangwang, after becoming a human Jinchuriki column force, there must be divine help. After a period of precipitation, the strength will increase by leaps and bounds. But I have a better choice. Lu Han replied. What? Kaharu Udatane was taken aback. "Kyubi, 9 tails," Luhan said. "We not only have 5 tails, but also Kyubi, 9 tails. If I want to pursue greater power, Kyubi, 9 tails, is more suitable for me, and once I put Kyubi, 9 tails, is transferred into my body, and the 5 tails can be sealed into Uzumaki Kushina, making her the new 5-tailed Jinchuriki column force." Luhan has made no secret of it. He just wants Kyubi, 9 tails. Chapter 0759 _ that guy is fierce. Kyubi, 9 tails, is Luhan's ultimate goal. People's desires are inflated. At the meeting that day, no one objected to Luhan's sealing of the 5 tails in his body, which made Luhan realize that he could already ask for something from this ninja village, even if it was this ninja village. The most precious thing. At the end of the conference room that day, Luhan decided to seal Kyubi, 9 tails, in his body and 5 tails in Kushina's body. It's just that at the time, he couldn't say it directly. In fact, with Luhan's strength, he can do all this forcibly, but he can't guarantee that Kushina won't die. If the tailed beast is forcibly pulled out of the human Jinchuriki column force, the human Jinchuriki column force will die. If not because of Kushina, Luhan will not have so many scruples. He needs to get support. The meeting room fell into silence. When Luhan finished saying that he wanted Kyubi, 9 tails, everyone's expressions changed. They didn't expect Luhan to think this way. Kyubi, 9 tails, is very special and different from other. The most special thing about the tailed beast, Kyubi, 9 tails, is that Uchiha Madara brought Kyubi, 9 tails, to attack Konoha. Kyubi, 9 tails, had caused damage to Konoha, so Konoha executives have always been cautious about the placement of Kyubi, 9 tails. Kaharu Udatane squinted at Luhan, and seemed to have seen through all the thoughts in Luhan's heart. See through nothing. Luhan didn't do anything wrong, and he wasn't an unstable person. Will he seize power with Kyubi, 9 tails? What else to take? Luhan is already the leader of Konoha, one of the most powerful and powerful people in the world. To put it another way, will he hurt Konoha by getting Kyubi, 9 tails? This is even more impossible. Only the true lunatic, the mentally abnormal, will have the idea of destroying the ninja village under his control. Luhan just wanted to become stronger. It's scary, Kaharu Udatane said with consideration. Kyubi, 9 tails, has been in Kushina's body for 4 years. If the seal is unsealed and taken out, there may be an accident. These are all small problems. Luhan immediately replied, the possibility of problems is very low. Originally, there is a certain danger in sealing the tailed beast in the human body, so why not do it? Luhan glanced at everyone present, and said slowly, I think my idea is the best arrangement. The 5 tails are not suitable for me. I don't want to waste my time on the 5 tails, but the tailed beast must summon Jinchuriki column force. Kushina is the most suitable. Seal Kyubi, 9 tails, into my body, give her 5 tails, that's it. Luhan once again emphasized his own thoughts and attitudes, which were very firm. Luhan wanted to see, who else would oppose him, and why would he oppose him? Silent. Everyone present has their own thoughts and looks, and they are really not mentally prepared at all. After a while of silence. If Lord Hengguang insists. It was Kaharu Udatane who spoke again, I have no problem. Agreed, this arrangement is feasible, Homura Mitokado said. The big picture is set. These 2 guys don't object. Hyuga Huyang and Uchiha Layang have no reason to object at all, because the stronger Luhan becomes, the better for them. Hyuga Huyang is Hengguang's wife and Hyuga Luo Ning's uncle. Luhan owns Sharingan, which makes Uchiha Layang treat Luhan as his own. As for Inuzuka Tears, he doesn't have much say in the matter because he's not even a consultant. Luhan's proposal was officially approved at the meeting. After the meeting, the crowd dispersed. Kaharu Udatane went to contact the ninja who was responsible for unsealing and resealing the tailed beast, and Homura Mitokado went to arrange the venue for the tailed beast to transfer. In the square in the village, the huge sealing barrier is still maintained, and the 24 ninjas around the barrier all keep their hands raised, constantly injecting chakra into the ceiling formation. Inside the barrier, the hill-like five-tailed King Mew was crawling on the ground. He looked bored. It had given up and escaped. It had already been tried before, and the seal could not be broken at all. The square has been blocked, and ordinary people cannot come, but some people with high rank or special status can still come here, such as Kyubi, Nine-Tails, Jinchuriki, Column Force Uzumaki Kushina. Are you talking? Why are you ignoring me? Kushina stood outside the barrier and waved to the five-tailed King Mew inside. Mew of Wu Wei squinted at Kushina with a, "You're so annoying, look. Didn't you tell me yesterday that we can chat?" Kushina pouted. Mew Wong ignored her. She was very unhappy. Call. Luhan appeared out of thin air and stood beside Kushina. It ignored me. Kushina immediately grabbed Luhan's hand with one hand and jumped inside to complain with the other. The five-tailed King Mew in the ceiling barrier suddenly stood up, stepped back slightly, and looked at Luhan with vigilance. "It's afraid of you," Kushina said. "Yeah," Luhan responded with a nasal voice, looked at King Mew in the barrier, and asked with a smile, "You seem to like it very much. It ignores you. Why are you pestering it?" "It's beautiful." Kushina shook Luhan's hand, stared at King Mew, and looked like he liked it. "It looks like a horse. How beautiful, not like the one in my body, everyone, who looks so good. Ugly and always grinning at me Kiba. Can you see Kyubi, Nine-Tails, in your body?" Luhan asked in surprise. "Okay." Kushina wrinkled her nose. "That guy is fierce." "Yeah." Luhan nodded. Kushina was so sure that she had seen Kyubi, Nine-Tails, with her own eyes. There should be a gap in the seal on her body. Otherwise, with Kushina's current state, she would not know how to communicate with Kyubi, Nine-Tails. "Since you like it so much, then I'll seal it in your body, okay?" Luhan pointed to the five tails, and said, "But you have to take the Kyubi, Nine-Tails, from your body first." Kushina stared blankly at Luhan, blinked and said, "Is this okay?" She was very aware of her mission as a Kyubi, Nine-Tails, Jinchuriki, Column Force, so she asked this question. "Of course." Luhan smiled. 2 days later. This morning, Luhan took Kushina straight to the back mountain, where preparations were made. The first step was to transfer the Kyubi, Nine-Tails, in Uzumaki Kushina's body to Luhan's body. Chapter 0760 Kyubi, Nine-Tails, Jinchuriki, Column Li Hangguang. Transferring Kyubi, Nine-Tails, is not complicated. Many older Konoha ninjas personally took action. They first used the safest way to unlock the seal on Uzumaki Kushina, and then pulled out Kyubi, Nine-Tails, from Uzumaki Kushina's body directly. Break into Luhan's body, and then apply a seal. Although the process is simple, it can be extremely difficult. Because the energy of Kyubi, Nine-Tails, is too strong, a little carelessness during the transfer process may cause Kyubi, Nine-Tails, to escape control. In order to prevent accidents, this time transfer Kyubi, Nine-Tails, action, the top-ranked existences among the older generation powerhouses in Konoha village were all present. Although these old guys don't know the sealing technique, they have extremely strong strength and super rich combat experience. If there is an accident and Kyubi, Nine-Tails, runs out of control, they can also temporarily resist for a while. If it wasn't for the transfer of Kyubi, Nine-Tails, matters related to the Jinchuriki, column power of the Kyubi, Nine-Tails, people needed to be kept secret, and they didn't need to be treated with such caution. It's a pity that not many people know about it. The mountain behind Konoha, in the dense forest, the enchantment has shrouded this forest. Kaharu Udatane stood on the edge of the barrier, looking at the middle of the barrier. Luhan, Uzumaki Kushina, and 5 ninjas sealed by Grandmaster 8 trigrams. These 5 ninjas are old guys, but they do not have the name of the strong, they are the strongest. Just an elite Jonin. Kyubi, Nine-Tails, has been taken out of Uzumaki Kushina's body. It is a ball of light, which is the chakra condensed into ultimate. 5 elderly ninjas started at the same time, pulling this light with magic, and throwing it at Luhan's body. The tailed beast is actually a chakra life form. It can be controlled by a seal. It can be big or small. Once it appears, it is equivalent to breaking free from control. The terrifying chakra fluctuations rippled in the enchantment, causing people's heart palpitations. Go in. Seal. 4 elephant seals. Kyubi, 9 tails, was punched into Luhan's body, and Luhan suddenly felt his body tighten, his chi and blood surged, and terrifying energy was making waves in his body, but he didn't need to suppress anything deliberately, because the seal didn't require him to do anything. There are many ways to seal tailed beasts, not to mention the other methods of sealing tailed beasts in Ninja Village. Let's just say Konoha. Luhan knows two. One is the seal of the 4 elephants and the corpse seal, the other is the double seal. 4 seals. According to Luhan's previous explanation, Kyubi, 9 tails, was sealed on him, and he was going to use the double 4 image seal. Of the 5 elderly ninjas, 3 of them were in charge of suppressing Kyubi, 9 tails, at the end, while the other 2 cast the seal of the 4 elephants respectively. Kyubi, 9 tails, chakra fluctuations became more and more violent, and the seal was about to be completed. This was the moment when Kyubi, 9 tails, resisted the most fiercely. The light centered on Luhan's abdomen shone outward, extremely dazzling. Seal. Seal. The 2 elderly ninjas who were responsible for the next seal did their best to transform chakra and try to seal the seal as much as possible. At this moment, Luhan, who is the receptor, feels very strange. He can feel the conflict of power. He is the most relaxed. Kyubi, 9 tails' consciousness is already attacking him, but he seems to stay out of the way. Tails is far, far away. Sure enough, this kind of thing should use the power of Konoha. If I do it myself, I am afraid it will not be so simple. Luhan noticed Uzumaki Kushina on the ground beside him. He had fallen asleep and was looked after by ninjas. His breathing was steady and his life was normal. Habitually opened the insight map and glanced. Luhan frowned suddenly. He saw a Yuhi name. 4 kilometers north, the big Yuhi name is White Zetsu. The ghost doesn't go away. Uchiha Madara knows that Kyubi, 9 tails, has been transferred into my body. Will he take action? I have to admit, Luhan is a little worried. Because of the Moon Eye plan, every tailed beast will. It is very important for Uchiha Madara. If the human Jinchuriki column force is too strong, Uchiha Madara will definitely arrange checks and balances, right? I do not know how long it has been. The light dissipated, chakra fluctuated news, and everything was calm. Ended. Kyubi, 9 tails, completed the transfer and was successfully sealed in Luhan's body. The 5 old ninjas who were in charge of transferring the control seal were all tired. Their faces were sweaty, but they all smiled. There is nothing more gratifying than success, because there is a problem with this kind of thing, and the first to die is they. White Zetsu also disappeared from the insight map, whether he had sneaked underground or had left. Take a rest first. The matter of sealing the 5 tails will be carried out in the afternoon. Luhan said, and then he hugged the sleepy Uzumaki Kushina and disappeared. At noon, Kushina woke up and had a big appetite, and the wind and the clouds ate a lot. In the afternoon, the village square. The 5 tails in Kushina's body makes the process simpler and more relaxing. Because of Luhan used the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to control the 5 tails, so the 5 tails could not resist, and could only be sent into Kushina's body to be sealed. Huge underground caves, huge braziers are still burning. The white-haired Sarutobi Hiruzen sat cross-legged on the ground, locked up for so long. He had long since given up cracking the seal on his feet, because he knew he couldn't do it. Recently, he has already spent most of his spare time on cultivation. Hengguang got Kyubi, 9 tails. White Zetsu walked out of the dark corner with the food box in his voice. What? Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked, slapped the ground with one hand, his body suddenly jumped up. A flash, he came to White Zetsu, the futon wind-style chakra swirled under him, dragged him, the sealed double feet 10 centimeters from the ground. What did you say? Sarutobi Hiruzen stared at White Zetsu. eyes, his face gloomy, and a terrible breath pressed against White Zetsu. Hengu got Kyubi, 9 tails. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had not lost his combat power, White Zetsu was unafraid, took the food box to bypass Sarutobi Hiruzen, and walked towards the direction of the brazier. Now, Hengwang has become the new Kyubi. 9 tails person Jinchuriki column force, and the 5 tails were sealed to the previous generation Kyubi, 9 tails person Jinchuriki column force, Uzumaki Kushina, ha 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 ha. One step closer to completing the plan, ha ha ha. Quote. White Zetsu is playing tricks. He has been implying Sarutobi Hiruzen intentionally or unintentionally, making Sarutobi Hiruzen guess at random. Are you going to keep me locked up? Sarutobi Hiruzen floated back to the futon and sat down, asking in a deep voice. Chapter 0761-Make Konoha Pay. Under the beating firelight, White Zetsu's face flickered, and the shadow was pulled by the elder. No, I won't keep you locked up indefinitely, that's pointless, it's better to kill you directly. White Zetsu turned to look at Sarutobi Hiruzen, with an inexplicable smile on his lips. Your life and death master is in Hongguang's hands, it will be useful to your day. Humph. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted coldly and said no more. In fact, he was very anxious and confused in his heart. He didn't know what was going on with Konoha. White Zetsu told him what happened outside, but he never fully believed it, because White Zetsu was too suspicious. With Sarutobi Hiruzen's wisdom, he had already sensed that White Zetsu was inducing himself intentionally or unintentionally. But Sarutobi Hiruzen also believes that White Zetsu must have something to do with Hongguang. He couldn't believe all of White Zetsu's one-sided words, but he believed part of it. Eat, live well, you will see the light of day again. White Zetsu walked over, put down the food box, and walked away slowly. I'll come back to see you again. Entering the dark corner, with his feet stepping on the moss on the ground, White Zetsu shrank and disappeared. Relying on the organic matter in the ground, White Zetsu traveled quickly through the soil. Another underground cave, with a very small area, has soft caves, cabinets, square tables, chessboards and other furnishings. Uchiha Madara is sitting cross-legged on one side of the square table, and the one sitting opposite him who is playing chess with him is Black Zetsu. White Zetsu grows from the vine-covered wall in the corner, walks over and merges directly with Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu becomes a must. Sarutobi Hiruzen's reaction is not fierce. If he is released now, he should not be hostile to Hongguang. Jushi Kuroko landed on the chessboard and said coldly, now the ninja world has no power to check him. If let him continue to grow, I'm afraid. Don't worry. Uchiha Madara was very calm. It's still early. At least, Hongguang can't solve the current war right away. Onoki has regarded him as a mortal enemy. Sunagakur and Omegakure's power is superior to Konoha. Even if the Iron Kingdom helps Konoha, the two sides are just evenly matched, so it's best to keep the war going. Besides, we have the Kurigakur pawn. No more words, he just suggested something to Uchiha Madara, induced Uchiha Madara to do something. Compared to his understanding of the war, compared to the overall situation, he knew that he was inferior to Uchiha Madara. The two played a few more moves in a row, and said coldly, Kyubi 9 tails is in Hongguang's body. With Hongguang's incredible growth rate, maybe he can quickly control Kyubi 9 tails Master Kyubi 9 tails Master Kyubi 9 tails. Tails power, once so. No, Uchiha Madara asserted. If it were possible, I did it back then, and the world wouldn't be what it is now. The black market? Ju asked again. Madara's turn to be silent, and he was powerless to restore the black market, mainly because the black market had lost too much power before, and attacking Konoha seemed like a mistake. The current situation is that as Konoha continues to increase the amount of the bounty, more and more black market killers have defected, and even the powerhouses of Kurigakur, Sunagakur, and Omegakur are also hunting black market ninjas and going to Konoha to exchange money. Reason why the black market can be maintained from the Sengoku era to today is that some strengths are on the one hand, and on the other hand, the black market is mysterious enough. But once the whole world wants to kill the black market, including the killers who are most familiar with the black market, there is no mystery at all. Go to the land of rain and contact Hanzo. Uchiha Madara pondered for a while and said, the destruction of the black market is inevitable, but before that, Konoha must pay the price. It has been 10 days since Luhan became the third-generation Kyuubi, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki column force. The land of the land sent back news that since the treasury of the village of Iwagakure was robbed and the Five Tails were robbed, the main army of Iwagakure all withdrew to the village of Iwagakure, and then it was reported that the daimyo of the land invested a lot of money in the village of Iwagakure, conservatively estimated at more than 400 million, to save the village of Iwagakure from turmoil. The five nations of the ninja world, speaking of close relatives, the land of daimyo and the land of Iwagakure village, can be said to be the best. The interior of the land of earth is extremely harmonious, and even in the land of fire, daimyo prefecture and Konoha village cannot compare. At present, Iwagakure has sent another 5,000 troops, stationed on the eastern border of the land of earth, to confront the legion of the land of thunder. The land of earth and the land of thunder check and balance each other, so even if Iwagakure village wants to take revenge on Konoha, it is powerless. On the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, there was another war, and the situation was stalemate. Konoha village plus Iron Country vs Sunagakure village plus Omegakure village. No one had the advantage in terms of military strength, and in terms of the number of strong players, there was not much difference. Mainly because of the addition of the Iron Country, although the strength of the three ships is not as good as that of Hanzo, it is not much worse. Konoha Conference Room 3, the meeting is in progress. The main topics of this meeting were the arrangements for the war in the Land of Rain, the handling of the village of Kurigakure, and the question of the Konoha treasure house. The situation in the Land of Rain does not need to change much, just maintain the situation and look for opportunities to win. The situation in Kurigakure village. 3 days ago, Kumogakure village sent information that they had captured Kurigakure spies in the Land of Thunder. Kurigakure seemed to be planning to cross the sea to attack the Land of Thunder and attack Kumogakure with Iwagakure village. This is very troublesome. Kurigakure has tens of thousands of ninjas, and Kurigakure is an archipelago country and is good at Sweden water style. Crossing the sea is easy for them, but Konoha can't help Kumogakure to contain Kurigakure. Konoha Lord the fighting forces are all in the country of rain, so Luhan can't go to Kurigakure to smash it again. If he goes again, he will throw himself into the net. Kurigakure is not empty, and he must be prepared. And once Kurigakure goes out, Konoha gets hurt. It is such a logic that Kurigakure sends troops to fight Kumogakure. Kumogakure will score troops to fight Kurigakure, so that Iwagakure can reduce the use of troops to Kumogakure. They can put some troops into the rain country. Konoha will be injured. The problem of Kurigakure. In fact, the conflict between Kurigakure and Kumogakure is not irreversible. If Laoai can negotiate with Kurigakure, this trouble can be solved. Kurigakure does not make troops, which is very beneficial to us. Luhan sat on the main seat, one-handed. Holding his chin, he frowned slightly. With the character of the third generation of Raikage, he will not bow his head. Kaharu Udatain worried. Chapter 0762-5 Ninja Swords. The atmosphere of the meeting was very depressing, and this incident had less impact on Konoha, but Kumogakure is an ally of Konoha, and if Kumogakure is not given some support, it will make allies feel chilled. Moreover, Laoai assisted Luhan in raiding Iwagakure village before, but his reputation did not improve. Although Kumogakure village got money, he also lost 3 talented people in Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode. Ultra Elite Jonin. And Luhan, but because of this fact, the name of Ninja World War God has been confirmed. According to the latest information, the older generation of strong Kurigakure has fully come back, and those old ninjas who have retired have also been reintegrated into the Legion. It seems that they really have plans for war. White Fang said. The garrison can deploy some troops, but the number is too small to be effective. Inazuka said tearfully. Everyone spoke one after another, but there was no good way to do it. After all, Kurigakure was not targeting Konoha village this time, and all the Konoha executives were very inactive. Old Eye. Luhan pinched his eyebrows, his voice paused, then he raised his head, sat up straight, and glanced at everyone. Actually, the third-generation Reikage himself is not afraid of war, but he also cherishes the life of the Kumogakure ninja. Kumogakure fights on two fronts. Lao Ai obviously doesn't want this to happen. We, Konoha and Kurigakure, have too much hatred to make peace, but Kumogakure. The only contradiction between them and Kurigakure is that Lao Ai attacked the first main battle army of Kurigakure, and in this matter, Kurigakure is very wrong. It is they the mission attacked the Kumogakure mission without authorization, causing Xiao Ai to be injured. Quote. Indeed, they can make peace. Kaharu Yudate nodded, but said, but once Kumogakure sends messengers to make peace talks, Kurigakure will definitely put forward conditions. Kumogakure got a huge fortune from Iwagakure. Kurigakure will definitely open his mouth. The third generation of Ai's Reikage would never agree. Luhan won a nasal voice, tapped his fingers on the table subconsciously, and fell into deep thought. The meeting room fell silent. If Lao Ai can take out what Kurigakure needs in exchange for peace, and these things are not held by Kumogakure itself, and don't lose Kumogakure's face, it is estimated that it can be achieved. After all, Kurigakure fights Kumogakure. There is not much benefit. Yes, it's just revenge. The journey is too long, and supplies are difficult. Luhan said. What? Kaharu Yudate asked. These. Luhan got up, took out a ninja sword out of thin air and put it on the table, then took out another, and then took out a pair, a total of 5 ninja knives with different shapes, placed side by side at the meeting on the table. Everyone who is present with these knives knows it. 5 of the 7 special ninja swords held by the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. These are the spoils of war that Luhan got when he encountered Boiling Yu and others after beheading Danzo in the Land of Vortex. After that, because Boiling Yu didn't die, Luhan was afraid that the knife would be summoned away when he took it out, so he kept it in his space backpack. Give these to Kumogakure and let them take these knives to negotiate peace with Kurigakure. Kaharu Yudate frowned. These knives are very precious. Hyuga Huyang also said. Of course it's not for Kumogakure. Although it's an ally, it doesn't make sense to give it for nothing. Luhan immediately emphasized, let Lao Ai spend money to buy it, 10 million apiece, and then what will he do with these knives? It's him. If he doesn't buy it, it doesn't matter. We Konoha have given him a solution. It's his business whether he does it or not. Kurigakure's 7 special ninja knives are very famous in the original work, but Luhan doesn't like it. Over the years, he has recovered more than a dozen rare ninja knives with special abilities. This kind of thing, as long as you kill it, ninjas with super elite or above strength may drop. Luhan has the Sword of Astonishment, and there is no better forbearance sword than this. If Kurigakure can get these 5 ninja knives back from Kumogakure, they can reorganize the 7 ninja knives of the mist, which means a lot to Kurigakure. Homura Mitokado said, a little worried, but we use 1,000 knives for 1,000. The price of 10,000 sold to Kumogakure village seems too expensive. I am afraid that the third generation of Reikage will have a grudge. Quote. The price of 10 million is indeed a sky-high price. How much is the head of a single member of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist worth? That's 10 million. That's the price of a man plus a knife. It's not expensive or expensive. Kumogakure has money now. Luhan smiled. It's settled. This is what we think of for Kumogakure. I'll meet the Kumogakure messenger later to explain. We'll still talk about the treasure house. There was no need to move the Konoha treasure house at first, but now it is different. Luhan robbed Kurigakure and Iwagakure successively, and both succeeded. This will definitely give people a feeling that it is not impossible to attack the treasure house of Ninja Village. Keisonoki suddenly goes mad and joins Hanzo and Chiyo to raid Konoha to rob the treasury. The fun will be great. This is the reason why Luhan dare not leave Konoha recently. He has to guard Konoha, and at the same time, the Konoha treasure house must be rearranged. Kaharu Udatane proposes to divide the treasure house into 3 parts, put some in Anbu and some under the Hokage building, and some don't move. Regarding the issue of the treasure house, the discussion went very smoothly. Luhan listened to a lot of opinions on this matter, but he didn't say anything. The meeting gradually came to an end. Lord Hangwang, I have a question. Kaharu Udatane said suddenly. Huh? Luhan tilted his head to look at Kaharu Udatane. I want to know. Kaharu Udatane looked at Luhan with a very formal look. If Kumogakure agrees to pay 50 million for 5 ninja swords, how do you plan to arrange the 50 million taels? Kaharu Udatane asked a very strange question. The knife was Luhan's trophy, and the money naturally belonged to Luhan. Kaharu Udatane shouldn't have asked this question. But she just asked. Luhan's heart skipped a beat. He understood that Kaharu Udatane's sudden question was not to trouble him, it would be. If Kumogakure gives money, Luhan tapped his finger on the table and said naturally, put this money into Konoha's treasure house, and at the same time I will take out another 150 million taels to make it up. 200 million will be put into the treasury to strengthen Konoha's financial reserves. Quote. Kaharu Udatane is satisfied. Then I'll be here today. Luhan was about to announce the end of the meeting. Kaharu Udatane stood up suddenly, interrupted Luhan's words, and said loudly, Everyone, I think the selection of the new Hokage can be put on the agenda. Chapter 0763 What about hostility? Kaharu Udatane actually brought this up on his own initiative. Luhan immediately understood the intention of Kaharu Udatane's question just now. She asked Luhan how to arrange the 50 million yuan. If Luhan said that the money belonged to him, Kaharu Udatane would definitely not take the initiative to mention Hokage. It was just because Luhan said that he put the money into the treasure house, and put another 150 million taels into it, that Kaharu Udatane mentioned it. In Kaharu Udatane's view, to become a Hokage, you must not only have strength and talent, but also have a heart for Konoha, mostly for the sake of Konoha village. Of course, how much money Luhan robs is his trophy. He has the right to give it to someone or not. Others have no right to say more, but if Luhan does nothing, it will definitely give people the feeling of selfishness. This can only be said it's a small flaw, not really selfish after all, but one that makes Kaharu Udatane mindful. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has been at the helm of Konoha for 20 years, has been hailed as the greatest Hokage, with great reason. Kaharu Udatane is Sarutobi Hiruzen's diehard, and will compare Sarutobi Hiruzen with Hangwang. Although Hangwang has surpassed Sarutobi Hiruzen in some aspects, in other respects, Kaharu Udatane believes that Hangwang is not as good as Sarutobi Hiruzen. Kaharu Udatane does not seek to be as great as Sarutobi Hiruzen, but at least he must have the Konoha village in his heart and the Konoha people in his heart. Obviously, Luhan has reached the standard of being Hokage in Kaharu Udatane's heart. As soon as Kaharu Udatane finished speaking, the conference room was completely silent, and everyone looked at her, including Luhan. I propose to recommend Hokage to assist Lord Hangwang as the only candidate for the seat of Hokage. Kaharu Udatane added, in view of the fact that the third generation of Lord Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen has been missing for several months, his life and death are uncertain, and the war of the ninja world has not been settled, follow the first war of the ninja world. In the circumstances of the period, the Hokage elected this time should be the Hokage on behalf of. Quote. During the First Ninja World War, the young Sarutobi Hiruzen received the order of the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobarama and was confirmed as the third generation of Konoha Hokage, but at that time, because Sarutobi Hiruzen was very young and Danzo was a careerist, it was not smooth for Sarutobi Hiruzen to ascend to the throne. He was a Hokage for 3 or 4 years, and at the end of the First Ninja World War, he officially became a third-generation Hokage. In fact, the only difference between Hokage and Hokage is a title, and there is also the problem of not being able to go to Hokage Rock after death. There is no difference in rights. Once he becomes a Hokage, he can directly appoint high-level officials, and the Legion commander will remove whoever he wants to remove, and whoever he wants to become an advisor will be an advisor. Cough. Luhan coughed lightly and said, since I have been mentioned, I, as the party involved, can't express my position, you say. As it should be. It's time. It is also necessary to let the leaders of the major legions and the chiefs of large and small tribes express their opinions. There is no problem with the approval rate of more than half. No objection. Was Uchiha Lei-young. After expressing his agreement, he glared at Kaharu Udatane several times, and cursed Kaharu Udatane as shameless in his heart. He greeted the whole family of Kaharu Udatane, because Kaharu Udatane stole his words. Face, what about hostility? Can you support Hangguang Danzo like this? Uchiha Lei-young deeply despised Kaharu Udatane's behavior. Kaharu Udatane's proposal, unanimously approved. Dismissed. Kaharu Udatane is going to prepare for the general election and inform the major clans in Konoha village about the situation. Homura Mitokado will go home and pack his bags immediately. He will go to the Land of Rain under the escort of Anbu to consult the opinions of the major clan leaders in person. Hokage Building Reception Hall. The Kumogakur messenger who had arrived in Konoha a few days ago. Xiao Ai, the Kumogakur representative who was resident in Konoha, was also present. This is the plan we came up with. Go back and tell Lao Ai that it is difficult for us at Konoha to recruit more people. This is the most appropriate method. Luhan said to the Kumogakur messenger named, he. Aren't 10 million knives too expensive? Xiao Ai said angrily, and glared at Luhan. Recently in Konoha, Xiao Ai has been suffocated. Luhan is busy with his affairs and has no time to play with him. This makes Xiao Ai very, very dissatisfied. He often goes to Luhan's house to eat and drink, and find Luhan by the way. Trouble, Luhan ignored him, there was nothing he could do. Do you know how much Kumogakur you guys got for robbing Iwagakure before? Luhan asked Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai shook her head, he didn't know. Shut up if you don't know. Luhan said rudely, then looked at Ki again, remember, if you agree to buy ninja swords, we only need gold and diamonds, not other types of gems, understand? Xiao Ai was reprimanded by Luhan, her face turned to Yuhi, she wanted to go forward to reason with Luhan, but she couldn't help but glanced at the expressionless white fang behind Luhan, and held back. He glanced at his young master and sighed in his heart, because Lao Ai was full of praise for Luhan in Kumogakur village. Kumogakur ninjas all know that Lao Ai and Han Guang have a deep friendship. You have to call the shots. Then Lord Hangguang, I'll go back and tell me now, and leave. He got up and said. Well, I'll show you off. Luhan also got up and said with a smile. Luhan personally sent Ki out of the Hokage building, and Xiao Ai followed him all the way, staring at Luhan all the way. Luhan watched Ki and others leave with his own eyes, but Xiao Ai didn't follow, so he was relieved. He was afraid of Xiao Ai's bad things, so he sent it to him personally. If Xiao Ai said something to Ki and others before they left, it would have a very bad influence. Lao Ai really cares about this son's thoughts. Night. The mansion in the forest. Dinner has just ended. Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning are clearing the dishes, and Uzumaki Kushina is cultivating under the supervision of Luhan. Luhan is about to go out to see the transfer of the treasure house. Report. Lord Kaharu Udatane is here to visit. Anbu Ninja's report sounded from outside the door. Oh, Luhan was stunned, and didn't understand what Kaharu Udatane was doing so late. Kaharu Udatane had never visited Luhan before, please. Soon. Kaharu Udatane entered the door, saw Tsunade and others in the house, he waved his hand and said, Lord Hangguang, take a walk outside. Yeah. Luhan nodded and walked out with Kaharu Udatane. Chapter 0764-C Lord Hokage. The courtyard under the night, the breeze is gentle, even quiet. Speaking of which, I've never paid a private visit to Lord Kaharu for so long, which is rude. Where is it? Lord Hangguang is very kind. It is my first time to visit Lord Hangwang. Luhan and Kaharu Udatane talked as they walked, and stopped until they reached the tree near the gate. The two chatted a little about the Kingdom of Rain and about Kumogakure village. Kaharu Udatane also reported to Luhan about the establishment of civil society, the case of the Silver Row. Lord Hangwang, in fact, I came this time because of this election. I think. Kaharu Udatane finally mentioned the purpose of this visit, and she explained her thoughts to Luhan. To put it simply, she hoped that Luhan would not become an official Hokage too soon, the reason being that Sarutobi Hiruzen was missing for 2 or 3 months, and there was still a possibility of his life. That way, if Sarutobi Hiruzen comes back, Konoha will have 2 Hokages, which will be a hassle. According to Kaharu Udatane, he hoped that Luhan would serve as Hokage until the end of the war. As long as the war was over, she would fully support Luhan to become the 4th Hokage. She is begging Luhan. There are very few transaction components, and most of the requests are because she already knows that she cannot stop Luhan from reaching the top. At the same time, she also wants to keep a way back for Sarutobi Hiruzen. She is also looking forward to Sarutobi Hiruzen being alive and he can come back. Without thinking too much, Luhan agreed to Kaharu Udatane's proposal. In fact, Luhan didn't plan to go a step further after becoming Hokage's replacement. It's totally unnecessary. The rights are the same. Luhan can even remove Kaharu Udatane after becoming Hokages. Concentrate on what Silver does. Of course, if there is no special reason, Luhan will not touch Kaharu Udatane. Kaharu Udatane has returned to his heart. She can take the initiative to visit today. It means that she has let go of the hatred caused by Danzo's death. Kaharu Udatane's ability as a consultant is unquestionable. He is very prestigious in Konoha, and so is Homura Mitokado. If it wasn't for their lack of talent in cultivation and average strength, they wouldn't just act as consultants. As promise, Kaharu Udatane bowed to Luhan and left happily. 6 days later. Homura Mitokado, escorted by Anbu ninjas, returned safely from the front line of the Land of Rain, and Kaharu Udatane immediately announced the Jonin Convention. This meeting wiped out all the senior ninjas who stayed in Konoha village. Nearly 200 ninjas attended the meeting, including all the clan chiefs who stayed in Konoha village, as well as ninjas with senior positions in the medical department and the administrative department. In attendance, and some are older ninjas. Chaired by Kaharu Udatane, and advisors such as Homura Mitokado and Hyuga Huyang were responsible for voting statistics. The purpose of this meeting is only one: choose Hokage. Kaharu Udatane delivered an opening speech. In the speech, he first explained the current situation of the ninja world, how the various parties are, and explained the importance of the absolute leader of the ninja village, and then explained the purpose of this meeting, and finally began to eloquently the details of Luhan's achievements for Konoha since Konoha 30 years ago. Lord Hangwang will be the only candidate for this election. No one is more qualified than Lord Hangwang. However, Lord Hangwang still needs to obtain more than half of the support rate to become Hokage. If the support rate is lower than 50%, however, if it is higher than 35%, there will be a second high-level vote. In the high-level voting, if Lord Hangwang has more than 80% of the votes, he can also become Hokage. Still assisting Hokage, and entrusting the power of Hokage. Quote. After Kaharu Udatane finished speaking, he raised his head and glanced at the audience again, saying, "In this vote, the number of votes is different according to the level of position. For example, as an advisor, I, Kaharu Udatane, have 10 votes, Lord Inuzuka tiers, and the commanders of the major legions. There are 8 votes, the police force captain Uchiha Leiyang, the S-unit commander Hataki Taishuo, 6 votes, and the other clan chiefs, according to the number of clans and positions, have 5 to 2 votes, respectively. Voting ninjas have 3 to 1 votes, depending on their position." Quote. Lord Hangwang has no right to vote because he is an elected person. Kaharu Udatane finally said, "Lord Homura Mitokado, please read the voting results of the frontline battlefield." Kaharu Yuditane sat down immediately. Homura Mitokado unrolled the scroll, and said loudly, "The commander of the first main army. The commander's assistant. The captain. Selection of Hokage, because it is not a peaceful age, so the selection rules are not fixed, and the selection rules should be formulated according to the actual situation." The process of electing Luhan as Hokage's replacement this time was relatively simple, and the opinions of ordinary ninjas were not consulted. Tens of thousands of ninjas in Konoha did not have the right to vote, but only a handful of people with the right to vote. Homura Mitokado read out the results of the frontline's vote, unanimously in favor. The ninjas on the front line are the ones who support Luhan the most, because they are the witnesses of the war. Luhan's life-to-death achievements are the most exciting to them. As a result of the statistics, according to the total number of votes, Lord Hengguang has all the support of the frontline ninjas, and the support rate has reached 12%. Kaharu Yuditane glanced at the audience again. "Now, please follow the order and go to the front ballot box to be anonymous. Vote." The people on the podium voted first. After Kaharu Yuditane finished speaking, he got up and walked down with the 10 votes in his hand, followed by Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyang and others. Luhan sat in the chair without saying a word. There were no competitors, and he didn't need to make a campaign speech. He just needed to wait for the result. After half an hour, the voting was over. After another hour, the statistics are over. In this general election, the approval rate of Lord Hengguang is 97%. From now on, Lord Hengguang will officially become the Hokage of Konoha Hidden Village. Kaharu Yuditane announced, then turned to face Luhan. The audience stood up, faced Luhan, then knelt down on one knee at the same time and shouted in unison. "See Lord Hokage." Chapter 0765-3 Appointments after becoming Hokage. There are still people who oppose Luhan, because it is a secret ballot, so Luhan does not know who is opposed to him, but he can guess. Example, the Shimura clan. Danzo is from the Shimura clan. When Danzo was in power, the Shimura clan was the second largest clan after the Hyuga and Uchiha. Compared with the Inuzuka and Jongshan clans, in terms of weight, it was even comparable to the Hitaki clan and the Senju clan. Because the Hitaki family and the Senju family are small in number, the former is a genius tribe, and the latter has 2 generations of Hokage, so their status is detached. Numbers usually make a lot of difference, and talent matters too. Example, the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan. The reason why these 2 clans are the 2 top clans is not only because of their large number of people, but also because the 2 major clans are extremely talented as a whole. Since Danzo betrayed Konoha, the status of the Shimura family has plummeted. After Danzo's death, Luhan took charge of Konoha, even more so. It would be hell if they would support Luhan. But it doesn't matter, a Shimura family can't make much waves, even if they all betray Konoha. It doesn't matter, it's not Uchiha or Hyuga, their betrayal will cause big problems. In addition to the Shimura family, Luhan guessed that there should be a few ninjas closely related to Danzo who also voted against it. It doesn't matter at all. Rate of 97% is absolutely unprecedented. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not have such an approval rate when he was in the top position. He was fully recognized after becoming Hokage. As for Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama, because of the relationship between the times, they were in the top position back then, but there was no such thing at all. What a regular election. Senju Hashirama doesn't need election at all, he is the god of ninja world. Senju Tobarama directly ascended, also because Senju Hashirama said one thing, and Senju Tobarama is indeed strong enough. In the venue, everyone slumped down and knelt on the ground. All get up. Luhan got up from his chair and said loudly, "Thank you for your trust in me. I will definitely live up to expectations, calm down the war, and led Konoha to a higher level of glory." Everyone got up. It stands to reason that the meeting can be over at this time. Kaharu Yuditane was about to announce, but Luhan raised his hand to stop it. "I still have something to announce," Luhan said loudly, 3 personnel appointments. Kaharu Yuditane, face changed. Luhan didn't discuss with her, or rather, Luhan didn't discuss with anyone. Just become a Generation Hokage, on direct personnel appointments. First, appoint Inuzuka Tear, the commander of the garrison, as an honorary advisor. In daily meetings, Inuzuka Tear has no right to speak out as an advisor, but in voting on some high-level matters, such as selecting Hokage or dismissing Hokage, Inuzuka Tear will have the equivalent of an advisor. Writes, quote, "In fact, Luhan wanted to appoint Inuzuka Lei as a consultant, but he thought it was inappropriate, because Inuzuka Lei already holds great power and has a detached position. If he becomes a consultant again, he is afraid that the right to speak is greater than that of Kaharu Yutane. Inuzuka Lei he is a very stubborn person and accepts the truth, so Luhan gave him the position of honorary advisor after weighing it." Second, Luhan's voice echoed in the venue, appoint the Uchiha clan chief, the Konoha police force captain, and Uchiha Leiyang as advisors. Kaharu Yutane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyang, etc. are all discolored, as expected. As expected, Han Guang immediately promoted Uchiha Leiyang. Third, Luhan swept his eyes and said again, appointed, the current top advisor, Kaharu Yutane, also serves as Hokage's assistant. During my outing, General Kaharu Yutane will lead Hokage on behalf of me, unless I have special arrangements. Quote. Kaharu Yutane's face changed again, a little confused. What is this all about? In fact, it is an exchange of interests. Luhan must promote Uchiha Leiyang, otherwise he will fail Uchiha Leiyang's unconditional support over the years. He is Luhan's hardcore crony, but he must consider the feelings of other advisors. This is not a matter of two people, Kaharu Yutane, Homura Mitokado, and most importantly, Hyuga Huyang, will have opinions. So, he promoted Kaharu Yutane to Hokage assistant. In fact, Kaharu Yutane has a very strong ability to rectify, and is the kind of person who can afford to let go the chance to serve as Hokage. Other words, Kaharu Yutane cannot usurp power no matter how high his prestige is. After Kaharu Yutane serves as Hokage's assistant, she will continue to press Uchiha Leiyang in power, and she can shut up. Without her raising her head, everyone else would shut up. After Luhan announced the three appointments, there were buzzing discussions in the venue. Uchiha Leiyang, who was sitting in the middle of the first row below the rostrum, was both happy and bit Kiba gnashing his teeth. Happy, of course, because he served as a consultant, allowing the Uchiha tribe to have a place in the high-level Konoha. Gritting Kiba's teeth because, more and more, he felt that Kaharu Yutane took her credit. It was Kaharu Yutane who dominated the election and sent Hangguang to replace Hokage. In Uchiha Leiyang's opinion, this was what he should have done, but Kaharu Yutane took the lead. At the same time, he also believed that she will be appointed as Hokage's assistant, which has a lot to do with sending cold light to the top. Kaharu Yutane, you fickle bitch. Seriously, if it wasn't for Kaharu Yutane's old age, Uchiha Leiyang would really doubt whether Kaharu Yutane bribed Han Guang with sex. Otherwise, how could she become Hokage's assistant because of her bad relationship with Han Guang before? The conference is over. Luhan officially entered the Hokage office in the Hokage building, and those belongings to Sarutobi Hiruzen will all be boxed and sent to the treasure house for storage. Konoha immediately spread the matter to the world. The dimly lit cave, Uchiha Madara looked at the child crawling on the ground and babbling. White Zetsu stood behind him, reporting on Konoha's situation. Hangguang has become Hokage, and the support rate is very high. Konoha will make a fist because of this, I'm afraid. White Zetsu's voice became lower. Go to the land of rain and tell Black Zetsu, let him do it. Hangguang becomes Hokage and should give him a big gift. Uchiha Madara said gloomily. Chapter 0766-Haunted. In the land of rain, I'm afraid it's not ready. White Zetsu has countless clones. He doesn't need to go to the land of rain, and he knows the situation there. Black Zetsu hasn't convinced Hanzo yet, because Black Zetsu arranged for him last time. to attack and kill Han Guang, which resulted in his arm being cut off. He has completely distrusted Black Zetsu. Quote. Uchiha Madara pondered, her old cheeks full of ravines, showing no joy, anger, sadness. Tell Black Zetsu, I will only give him half a month. If he still can't convince Hanzo, let him lead someone to do it directly. Yes, White Zetsu ordered and was about to leave. That's right, Uchiha Madara said again, keeping his eyes on the child crawling on the ground. Send him to Konoha and tell Hangguang, congratulations on becoming Hokage, this is my gift to him. This afternoon, Luhan became Hokage's replacement within 2 days. A mansion in the forest. Humph, I will definitely hit you this time. Xiao Ai stared at Luhan, her whole body was shocked, and the air flowed and flashed thunderlight, then turned into thunderlight and rushed to Luhan, look at the fist. Xiao Ai shouted to see the fist, but she swept Luhan with her whip leg. He learned badly and became treacherous. Luhan saw the tricks and fought with Xiao Ai bow, which was actually training Xiao Ai in disguise. Becoming Hokage, Luhan has less daily affairs to deal with, mainly because there is no trouble in the front line, and Konoha has not been threatened by other threats. The power of Kyubi, 9 tails, are practicing with Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai, this apprentice, still has to accept it. This is the future 4th generation of Raikage. Nothing will change. Before you know it, the time has come to dusk. Report. Anbu Ninja suddenly appeared in the courtyard, knelt down on one knee and said quickly, Report Lord Hokage, there is news from the northern border that the Kumogakure escort team has arrived. Kumogakure hopes that we will accept the escort. Here comes the money. 50 million taels, all of which are equivalent to gold. As early as 4 days ago, the Kumogakure village sent back news and accepted Konoha's proposal, willing to spend 50 million taels to buy 5 ninja knives, and then use the ninja knives to negotiate with Kurigakure, but Konoha must keep this matter a secret. It cannot be known that the knife was bought by Kumogakure. Lao Ai wants to lose face. He didn't say that he bought it, but said that he asked for it from Konoha, so that Kumogakure made peace with Kurigakure, and it was Konoha who was extorted. It had been 4 days before Kumogakure shipped the gold to the border. Let White Fang take someone, notify the garrison, and send 2 brigades to follow. Luhan thought for a while and then arranged. A Hokage, Luhan naturally does not need to do many things himself. Although it is most suitable for him to go in person, because he has space for a backpack, he can easily bring the gold back. However, Luhan cannot leave Konoha at will now, he must guard. Luhan, Konoha lost the supreme power who could check and balance Onoki and Hanzo. Luhan is really worried, if they also play the trick of raiding, no matter whether they can rob the treasure house or not, it will cause a great blow to Konoha, and may even retreat completely. And as long as Luhan is here, don't even think about leaving when they come. Into the night. Xiao Ai eats and drinks at Luhan's house again, and Kushina protests and despises him. After a long time in contact, Kushina dislikes Xiao Ai more and more because he thinks Xiao Ai is stupid. Yes, they are always tricked and calculated, and they don't know it yet. In the original book, Kumogakure robbed Uzumaki Kushina, and then she was rescued by Namikaze Minato, which forged her marriage with Namikaze Minato, and she was very hostile to Kumogakure. In this world, under the influence of Luhan's butterfly effect, this has not happened, and it will not happen in the future. Kushina just doesn't like Xiao Ai who is stupid, she has no hostility towards Kumogakure, and Namikaze Minato has not saved her, so she and Namikaze Minato are not very close. While dinner is in progress. Uchiha Leiyang came to see me today, Tsunade said while eating with his rice bowl and chopsticks, without looking at Luhan. His mood was a little strange, just when you went to the Hokage building to handle official business. Huh, Luhan frowned and raised his head. He's looking for you, what's the matter? It's nothing. Tsunade was still in a strange mood. After a pause, he said, that's right, not only Uchiha Leiyang, but also his wife wants to walk around with our house. Oh, Luhan responded and didn't ask any further. Uchiha Liang took the initiative to walk around with Tsunade. It was normal, it was just human interaction. As for bringing his wife, it obviously showed that he was walking around in a personal relationship, and he had to avoid suspicion. Tsunade is Han Guang's wife, a woman. Although Uchiha Liang is in his 50s, he is also a man. If he has nothing to do, he always finds Tsunade. It's hard to tell if it's rumored, but it's not a problem with his wife. Don't grab it, you've eaten it all up. Kushina tapped the back of Xiao Ai's hand with chopsticks, and angrily moved the plate containing the balls to her side. Obviously you eat more than me. Xiao Ai muttered, not daring to argue with Kushina. After all, this is Han Guang's home. There's more, I'll go to the kitchen to get it, don't make any noise. Hyuga Luo Ning hurriedly smoothed the game. Luhan ignored them and continued to eat his own. Halfway through dinner. Kushina, who was eating sushi, suddenly raised her head, her ears twitched, and she blinked. Listen, what's the sound? What sound? Hyuga Luo Ning looked at Kushina and listened carefully, but heard nothing. It sounds like a child's cry. Kushina's expression changed after speaking. She looked very frightened. She shrank her neck, leaned towards Tsunade, and whispered, could it be a ghost? Just frighten yourself. But the cry of a child suddenly appeared at night, which was really scary. The room fell silent all of a sudden, and everyone turned their ears to listen. It seems, there really is. Just outside, seems to be in the yard. Anbu ninjas everywhere, so there were a lot of orange dots, and Luhan couldn't tell which one was an outsider. Is someone really here? Child. Chapter 0767 Senju Tianjung_. The atmosphere in the room has become cold, influenced by Kushina. It's so scary. Kushina has put down the tableware and got into Tsunade's arms. This girl has loved to read all kinds of ghost stories since she was a child. She usually looks very courageous and has a strong temper, but in fact, after all, she is a girl. I'll take a look, Luhan said, putting down the tableware. Report. Anbu Ninja's report suddenly sounded outside the door. Lord Hokage found a child in the woods. There really is. Luhan dodged and disappeared. In the northwest corner of the mansion, on the side of the training ground, there is a small forest. 5 or 6 Anbu ninjas gathered in the bushes on the edge of the grove. Under the tree in front of them, there was a basket made of branches. Inside the basket was a small quilt, and inside the quilt was a crying child. Silver gray hair, looks very clean, can be a year old. Not sure, because children of this age, because of food problems, living environment reasons, the development speed is not the same. Luhan appeared out of thin air. Seeing the child, his pupils shrank violently, because he could see the character information, and he knew where the child came from. Son of Senju Senluo, Senju Tianjung. He is still alive. Who sent it? Under the heavy escort of Anbu, he was able to send the child here quietly. Luhan immediately opened the insight map again and stared. Just 3 seconds after Luhan opened the insight map, 4 kilometers north of the insight map, it was a residential area, and a big Yuhi name suddenly appeared. White Zetsu. Your uncles. Luhan immediately understood why he didn't find Senluo's son when he went to the country of Vortex. It is because of the absence of Senluo's son that Senluo went to extremes and was used by Uchiha Madara to attack Konoha. Everything is a conspiracy of Uchiha Madara. The child is in the hands of Uchiha Madara. Damn. Luhan bit Kiba, dodged and disappeared, heading straight for White Zetsu. Just after Luhan left, Tsunade, Hyuga Luoning, Uzumaki Kushina and others all came out of the house to check the situation. Luhan chased after White Zetsu. White Zetsu seemed to sense Luhan, and deliberately led Luhan away from Konoha. It flashed and disappeared for many times, keeping a distance from Luhan, but not completely out of the detection range of the insight map. No one else was alerted. One was running and the other was chasing, and soon left the village of Konoha. North of Konoha village, in the forest, Luhan appeared out of thin air. If he didn't chase him again, he wouldn't be fooled. It was enough to chase White Zetsu out of Konoha. No matter how far he went, Luhan would never be led away from Konoha by White Zetsu. White Zetsu disappeared from the insight map again, this time for a little longer, instead of appearing immediately after disappearing. Damn Uchiha Madara! Luhan cursed Uchiha Madara in a low voice. He realized the horror of Uchiha Madara. This guy's layout is uncertain, some are launched suddenly, some are prepared long in advance. Luhan now understands that from the day he got Senluo's son, he had planned to attack Konoha. And now he suddenly sent Senluo's son back. I don't know what it means. After all, there is no harm in a small child. Luhan turned around and was about to return to Konoha when he stopped abruptly and turned around to look quickly. White Zetsu appeared. Just as he turned around, he appeared 100 meters behind him, growing out of a tree. You're really not afraid of death? Lu said coldly, staring at White Zetsu. Lord Madara asked me to tell you, congratulations on your becoming Hokage. White Zetsu said coldly, this is a gift from Madara-sama to you. As soon as he finished speaking, White Zetsu retreated into the tree and disappeared completely. There is no trace of him on the insight map, and this guy is completely gone. When Luhan returned home, the courtyard had returned to calm, and all the Anbu ninjas had returned to guard in the shadows, while the child was gone. When Luhan entered the door, he saw the basket on the wooden floor beside the dining table at a glance. He's so young, is he a year old? Look at you, he smiled. He is catching my fingers, yee. Can't catch. Don't cry, give you. Tsunade, Hyuga Luo Ning, and Uzumaki Kushina were all around the basket, teasing the children inside. The little guy stopped crying and kept laughing while being teased, with a pair of small hands scratching back and forth. Xiao Ai was not in the room, she probably had already finished her meal and left. Seeing Luhan entering the door, Tsunade raised his head and asked, have you caught up? Just now when Luhan suddenly left, Tsunade could naturally think that Luhan was going after the person who abandoned the child, and that he was able to keep the child silently under Anbu's heavy blockade and surveillance. When the sound is sent in, it must be a strong party. Luhan shook his head, walked to the wooden collapse and looked at the child. Senju Tianzheng. I don't know who came up with this name. Does Senluo have a chance to name his son? Or from Uchiha Madara? Have you checked? Luhan asked Tsunade. Yeah, Tsunade nodded. This kind of child of unknown origin, she dared to bring it into the room after checking, not to mention if there is an infectious disease, it will be troublesome, Tsunade exclaimed. It's incredible, although he is very young, his vitality is extremely strong, even comparable to that of adults. For so many years, I have only discovered this situation in individual children of the Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan. He is a child of the Senju family, Luhan said with a blank expression. What? Tsunade was surprised, her eyes changed immediately, she could sense that Luhan must know something. At the same time, Uzumaki Kushina couldn't help but want to pick up the little guy, but just after picking up the little guy, he found a small scroll under him, and blurted out, huh? What is this? Luhan quickly picked up the small scroll and checked it to make sure that the scroll was fine, and then opened the scroll. There are a total of 4 characters above, in 2 groups. Senluo, Tianzheng. Obviously, Uchiha Madara was afraid that Luhan would not know where the child came from, so he left his name to let Luhan know that this is Senluo's child and prevent misunderstandings. Tsunade tilted his head and looked at the scroll, his face changed suddenly. Of course she knew the meaning of the word Senluo, the former ace of the Konoha root organization, the traitor who attacked Konoha with the black market, and the culprit behind Sarutobi Hiruzen's disappearance. Chapter 0768_abnormally active nerves. Senluo, Tsunade murmured, but was confused. Senluo is a person's name, and it can have other meanings. What does Senluo Tianzheng mean? Could it be that this child is called Tianzheng? What does he have to do with Sen Luo? Can Sen Luo have children? This psychopath actually likes women. And where did he come from? Wasn't it kept in custody for treatment? Tsunade couldn't react a little, because very few people knew about Sen Luo's son, and Danzo, who knew the inside story the most, was dead. This is Sen Luo's son. Luhan said blankly, put down the scroll, and looked at the little guy again. His name is Tianzheng. Senju Tianzheng. Tsunade's expression froze. It really is. The little guy was nibbling on his fingers, his big eyes were looking around, and after being coaxed, he was not afraid of people. Luhan's probe hand held his small head, and chakra quickly penetrated into his body. As Tsunade said, the vitality of this little guy, pervert, is even stronger than that of Uzumaki Kushina in his childhood. When he grows up, the amount of chakra will be very terrifying, and his cultivation talent should also be excellent. The possibility of exceptions is very low. Of Senju Senra. Senju Senra himself is the super genius of the Senju family. When Sharingan was transplanted, other Senju ninjas were transplanted Sharingan, only Senju Senra was transplanted with Uchiha Kagami's Mangekyo Sharingan, which means that Senju Senra's talent was at that time. In the group, it is the strongest. Moreover, Senju Senluo also fused the cells of Senju Hashirama. Because of the blood of the same family, the cells of Senju Hashirama must have improved him from the root. With such a talent, he gave birth to such a son, which did not surprise Luhan at all. That is, Luhan is very worried that Senju Tianzheng will have problems with his body. Because Senju Senro not only fused the cells of Senju Hashirama, but also transplanted Uchiha Kagami's Mangekyo Sharingan, and the transplant has been receiving treatment for many years. He is a test body, and the child was born before the fusion of yin and yang in his body, that is said Senju Senro may pass his flaws to his children. As for the Mangekyo Sharingan of the Uchiha tribe, it is not inherited naturally. The transplanted thing does not exist in the blood of Senju Senluo. Senju Senluo only has the blood inheritance of the body of the immortal, and cannot have Sharingan Kekkei Genkei. Luhan's chakra repeatedly probed the little guy's body, and blinded the little guy's consciousness, making him sleepy and quickly fell asleep. What? Tsunade couldn't help asking. She had previously monitored Senju Tianzheng to check whether he had contracted diseases and other issues, and whether he was healthy or not, without doing a particularly detailed examination. At this time, Luhan carefully checked the Senju Tianzheng, and Tsunade also understood. This is a child of an experimental ninja, and maybe there is a potential problem. A few minutes. After repeatedly monitoring Senju Tianzheng's body, Luhan probed chakra into his brain and eyes again, and probed very carefully. Luhan's face suddenly changed. Tsunade spoke again. The feedback from the brain is a bit strange. He is already sound asleep. Even if he is dreaming, his mind should be relatively calm, but this time the feedback is very active. Luhan looked at the sleeping little guy. Generally, only people are having nightmares. Only when he slept would his mind become so active in his sleep, but he slept sweetly. I'll take a look. Tsunade folded his hands. Luhan immediately took his hand away. Tsunade quickly hand-seal, with the most professional medical ninjutsu, probed Senju Tianzheng's brain, because Tsunade already knew what was abnormal, so the probe was very fast, and the conclusion was the same. There is a problem with the brain region, and the right cranial nerve is abnormally active. It may be a hereditary neurological disease. Luhan frowned. Now he is still young, so he can't see anything. Sen Luo is suffering from illness and pain because he has been detained for a long time, and his heart is distorted. I am not sure about Sen Luo. Whether Luo's brain has lesions, but if the child is inherited from him, it should be. Neuropathy and mental illness often coexist. Neuropathy, for example, nerve pain is just a type of neurosis. Neurasthenia, always dozing off, is also a type of neurosis. And a lunatic is a mental illness. Because neuropathy leads to madness, there will be a situation where neuropathy and mental illness coexist. Who sent him? How did Senluo's son wander outside? How could he be sent back suddenly? Tsunade had many questions. Luhan shook his head and said nothing. He's so pitiful, so young, Kushina whispered. Luhan looked at Senju Tianzheng, thinking about how to place him. It would definitely be impossible to kill him. Although Senju Senluo deserved death, it had nothing to do with the child. Luhan couldn't have White Zetsu send the child back because Uchiha Madara asked him. Just killed him 100 times. In fact, if it wasn't for Senju Senluo who attacked Konoha and Konoha suffered a lot of casualties, Luhan would still regard him as a good friend. Late at night. Under Luhan's arrangement, Hyuga Luoning and Uzumaki Kushina went to live, and the little guy Senju Tianzheng was also placed in Kushina's room, and they were taken care of together. Main master bedroom. Luhan lay on his side on the soft side with a heavy heart, and put his hands on Tsunade's soft waist. Tsunade suddenly turned his back and turned from facing Luhan to facing Luhan. His beautiful eyes were extremely bright in the dimness. He blinked at Luhan and whispered, "Tell me, don't you want to tell me?" She already felt that Luhan had something to say to herself, otherwise Hyuga Luoning would not be allowed to live in Uzumaki Kushina's room. Do you know what kind of existence Senju Senluo is? Why did he become like that, do you know? Luhan asked softly. He was a test subject. When I was very young, he volunteered to participate in Danzo's trial and transplanted Uchiha Kagami-sama's Mangekyo Sharingan, but there were sequelae after the transplant, so he had problems. Tsunade said, she only knew so much. Who told you? Luhan asked. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Tsunade responded with a nasal voice. Then let me tell you, this is wrong. Luhan looked into Tsunade's eyes. That experiment was not led by Danzo, but Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. Moreover, that experiment was the root cause of the decline of the Senju family. Chapter 0769 Konoha 15 Years Tragedy. The decline of the Senju family is Sarutobi Hiruzen's 20 years in charge of Konoha, the biggest stain. He has an inescapable responsibility. The Senju clan is not an ordinary clan, the strong clan that led the establishment of the hidden village of Konoha. If not for the Senju clan, under the leadership of Senju Hashirama, they conquered the Uchiha clan and jointly established the Konoha with the Uchiha clan, and then other nations followed suit and established the ninja village. The system of one country and one village was settled, and how many people might have died in the war in the ninja world back then. Hashirama, the god of the ninja world, and Hokage Senju Tobarama, the second generation, were both born in the Senju clan. The Senju clan has carried too much light and glory, but it is such a clan, but because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's extreme experimental plan, the inheritance was cut off and it declined. This is not the biggest problem. Sarutobi Hiruzen had good intentions. He wanted to end the war quickly, so he wanted to create a combination of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama to create a batch of monsters. What's really chilling about this incident is that Sarutobi Hiruzen concealed this incident, weaving countless lies for this, and even if a small number of people knew the inside story, he also threw the blame on Danzo. What did you say? Tsunade's body shook, his voice trembling. I said, that experiment led to the decline of the Senju clan. Luhan repeated it, and said, I didn't want to tell you about this. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen may have fallen, people die like lights go out, and everything is over. I don't need to say what he was right or wrong in the past, but since you asked, I don't need to keep a secret for him. Tsunade was dumbfounded. What Luhan said was different from what Sarutobi Hiruzen told her, and was different from what Konoha recorded in history. Tell me first, what you know. The reason for the decline of the Senju family. Luhan asked, then took Tsunade's hand, hoping to give her a sense of security and calm her down. The decline. That's that time. Tsunade spoke slowly, on the one hand because Luhan's words gave her a shock, and on the other hand, she needed a meeting. That was 15 years of Konoha, and I was 5 years old that year. The Senju Corps fell into a trap during a classified mission and suffered heavy casualties. Most of the deaths were young ninjas. Tsunade couldn't go on, because Luhan's meaning had already been made clear. It was a lie. Sarutobi Hiruzen told you? Luhan asked. Is this matter on the record? Yes, but it's very unclear. It's just a secret mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen is very careful in making up lies. He knows that the clearer he is, the more loopholes he can tell, so he deliberately omits the details in the record. Tsunade's eyes became more and more wrong, and her body trembled slightly. Although she had had a conflict with Sarutobi Hiruzen because of Luhan's relationship, it did not affect Sarutobi Hiruzen's position in her heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen is the greatest Hokage, it's accepted, and Tsunade has always thought so. She didn't expect that Sarutobi Hiruzen would lie to herself. In fact, she can't tell the truth from the false, and she is a little confused, but she knows that Luhan will not lie to herself. There is no need to lie to herself, then, the liar is naturally Sarutobi Hiruzen. Tsunade little by little so that she could accept it better. Many of the people who died back then were Tsunade's relatives, her uncles, cousins, and cousins. Tsunade, who was 5 years old at the time, was studying at the ninja school, and she still remembers many people as a smart child. Voice and smile. Exactly, what happened? The real situation is, Tsunade suddenly clenched Luhan's hand and asked. They all died in the experiment. In order to end the war as soon as possible, Sarutobi Hiruzen accepted Danzo's proposal and jointly conducted this top-secret experiment with Danzo. The experiment method was very radical and the purpose was very extreme. Style and Sharingan's monster. It can be said that it is a combination of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. Senju Senra, as the most talented, was transplanted with Uchiha Kagami's Mangekyo Sharingan, and the others were transplanted with ordinary Sharingan and Senju Hashirama Sama's cells. A total of 79 Senju tribesmen aged 7 to 15, 78 died due to the experiment. Only Senju Senluo survived, but he was also a failed experiment. He often went mad and realized that life is better than death. The pain, and it's getting worse, that's why he's going crazy. 79 is not a big number. Compared with the tens of thousands of ninjas in Konoha, the death of 79 is nothing. But if these 79 people are all from the same clan, and they are all teenagers or even children, then the problem will be big. Senju family at that time, also divided into various age groups. How many of the same age group? And that was the period of the First Ninja World War. It doesn't mean that if you die these 79 people, you won't die after that. Hyuga family, which is now the most populous in Konoha, as an example, including retired disabled ninjas, infants, elderly people, and some women who take care of children. All counted, can there be 500 people? 600 people? What about age groups? How many are 40 to 60 years old? How many are 20 to 40 years old? How many are under the age of 20? If we were to pick out the most talented people in the Hyuga family from the age of 7 to 15, pick 79. If there were 79, they would all be killed. The inheritance of the Hyuga clan will also be broken immediately. It will decline, and whether it can recover or not depends on the fertility rate of the tribe and the attrition in the war. The Senju family never recovered. This is a very scary thing. Luhan didn't know why Sarutobi Hiruzen was so extreme at that time. Did he want to quickly settle the war to prove himself? There was silence in the bedroom for a long time. Tsunade cried, tears streaming down her face, her eyes were full of unease. She was afraid, not because of the deaths of the Senju clan. After all, she had already accepted the fact that the Senju clan was declining. What made her fear and uneasy was that she, the wise and powerful teacher, actually deceived her and told her a big lie. How did you know? Tsunade asked in a broken voice, sobbing. Chapter 0770_Deceive the World. Tsunade seemed to want to confirm, because she hoped that what Luhan said was a lie, not because she didn't trust Luhan, but because she couldn't accept that Sarutobi Hiruzen was such a person. Say that Sarutobi Hiruzen is deceiving the world is not an exaggeration. Because Danzo took the blame for him, it's not just this one, but this one is the most serious. About 4.5 years ago, I was on a mission to eradicate missing nin in the Land of Water. After I completed the mission, I killed Captain Kurigakure Anbu at the same time and the Land of Water was blocked. It took me several months to get rid of the missing nin. The country escaped. Luhan said softly. Just as I was trying to escape the water country, I met Senluo. Have you met him? Tsunade asked. She remembered it. Senluo brought back the news of Luhan's death. He said that Luhan was not found, and he speculated that Luhan was dead. Well, but he went to the Land of Water, not to save me, but to kill me. Luhan said. What? Tsunade exclaimed. Luhan calmed her down and said, this is not Sarutobi Hiruzen's order. Sarutobi Hiruzen's order was really to save me. It was Danzo who ordered Senluo to kill me, and Senluo was extremely powerful to me at that time. If he really wants to kill me, I'm dead. Tsunade, listen. Luhan is about to talk about the most crucial point. Why didn't he die? Or, since Senluo found him, why didn't he kill him? Senluo didn't kill me because he discovered the potential in me. At that time, I was just 13 years old, and I was already stronger than the average elite Jonin. Luhan continued, Senluo knows very well that Danzo is my enemy. And he hates Danzo. Hates Sarutobi Hiruzen. It is because of them that Senra becomes mad. Senluo hoped that I could kill Danzo in my lifetime. I made an agreement with him, and he gave up killing me. After that, on the way back to escape from the Land of Water, I met with Senluo several times. Familiar, he told me his story. About Konoha's 15 years of top-secret experiments, Senluo personally told me. This night, for Tsunade, was extremely long. She had never experienced such a hard time. Luhan explained to her Konoha's 15 years of experiments, and also told about Senluo, his entanglement with Senluo, and his hatred with Danzo, all the way to the death of Senluo. In the Valley of the End. In fact, Senluo didn't die at that time, and Luhan knew it later, but there was no need to go on and on. It would be impossible to explain. Luhan couldn't tell Tsunade about Uchiha Madara's situation. Luhan didn't plan to tell anyone about this. Because it is no good for anyone to know, and it will lead to death. If Luhan told Tsunade that Tsunade pretended not to know, it was okay, but if she did something, Madara would definitely kill her. Danzo used Senluo's son as a threat and asked Senluo to kill me again, but although Senluo came, he didn't do anything to me. He also assisted me in fighting Hanzo and others and fell in the End Valley. Luhan finally said, I lost a friend. For this, I chased and killed Hanzo for thousands of miles, and finally fell into Hanzo's trap. Fortunately, I found Kazekage, the third-generation head hidden in the dark, in time, killed him unexpectedly, and beheaded Hanzo again. As for why Senluo is still alive, I don't know, maybe he was saved by someone from the black market, but I know why he attacked Konoha. Because he hated Sarutobi Hiruzen. Because he is a lunatic, he passed on this hatred. Arrived at Konoha village. Quote. Tsunade was speechless, his tears dried up, and he was speechless. She has begun to look at Senluo from a new angle, a poor person, a person who has gone to extremes because of hatred, a senior from the same clan as Tsunade. Senluo's sins were unforgivable, but that didn't stop Tsunade from feeling pity for him. A long time has passed. With complicated thoughts, Tsunade gradually closed his eyes and fell asleep. Early the next morning, Tsunade woke up on time with her biological clock, and thousands of complex thoughts flooded her mind again. Luhan also woke up on time, showing a relieved smile to Tsunade. That kid, why was he suddenly sent back? Who sent it back? Tsunade asked. Danzo took him away when he betrayed Konoha. After that, until I killed Danzo and many root ninjas, I never found him again. Luhan shook his head. Two possibilities. one is that the surviving root ninja sent him, the second one was sent back by the black market, but the purpose. Luhan really didn't know. He didn't understand what Uchiha Madara meant at all. Demonstration. Disgusting person. Let me know it was all your conspiracy in the first place. Sounds like you're scheming. Let's adopt him. Tsunade suddenly grabbed Luhan's hand. He is innocent, and his talent is very good, and he is the blood of the Senju family. We don't have no children of our own, after so many years. Maybe we can adopt one. Tsunade's voice was getting smaller and smaller. Every time she mentioned the child, she was afraid to touch Luhan's sensitive nerves. In fact, Luhan was not sensitive at all. He knows what happened to him, because he is a transmigrator, he is a subversive, and it is not absolutely impossible to give birth, but the probability is small. Tsunade was looking forward to it, but Luhan shook his head. No, Luhan resolutely said, he has a problem. Even if we adopt an ordinary untalented child, we can't adopt him. I plan to send him to Anbu, where he will be raised by a scientific research ninja named Anbusenju. Regularly check on his problems, treat him. His identity, stay in Konoha, Anbu is his best home, he should be an excellent Anbu Zero Squadron ninja in the future. Quote. Tsunade also realized that he was a little impulsive, didn't force it, just whispered, I hope his problem is not serious. A new day has begun. Luhan gave Tsunade a big smile. Get up, forget about that. Luhan said before getting up. Wait, there's something else. Tsunade pressed Luhan's shoulder. What? Luhan lay back again, looking sideways at Tsunade. Actually, the Uchiha Patriarch and his wife came to me yesterday for something special. Huh. They want me to agree to let you marry Uchiha Makoto. Chapter 0771 The couple's boat overturned. After Tsunade finished speaking, he stared at Luhan's eyes, as if he wanted to see something. Luhan's expression froze for a while, and he was stunned, and immediately said again, I don't know, I really don't know, why would they suddenly mention this to you? Luhan was a little nervous. Luhan knew Uchiha Leiyang's thoughts very well, but he didn't expect that Uchiha Leiyang would bypass him and go directly to Tsunade for a showdown. What a brave man. I don't know Tsunade's temper. If you anger Tsunade and your Uchiha clan, you will be out of luck. Tsunade can't do anything to the Uchiha clan directly, but she can blow the pillow against Luhan. Isn't that what you meant? Tsunade asked Luhan's eyes. No, Luhan said absolutely, it was Uchiha Leiyang who made his own decision. I didn't know anything about it before. Believe me, I definitely didn't ask him to test your tone. I'm not such a person. Luhan was explaining. At the same time, he had already scolded Uchiha and Leiyang's whole family in his heart. Even if you want to get closer, don't play it. Annoyed Tsunade, let no one rest in peace. Luhan finally understood why Tsunade's face was wrong when he was eating yesterday. It was because of this. Actually, I think what Uchiha Leiyang said makes sense. Tsunade's voice suddenly softened a lot. Luhan didn't react, he blinked and said, what did he say? He said, the reason why you can't have children is probably because of a problem with your bloodline. You have the Kekkei Genkai of the Uchiha family, and I have the bloodline of the Senju family. Luo Ning is the bloodline of the Hyuga family. They are all extraordinary bloodlines that can produce Kekkei Genkai. When two powerful bloodlines meet, either they merge together and become stronger, or they resist each other. Tsunade continued, we haven't had children for a few years, so maybe we just met. Situation. Quote. I'm not a Uchiha ninja, my Mangekyo is copied, you know. Luhan quickly reminded. Yes, I believe you, but this does not mean that after you have Sharingan, your bloodline has not mutated. After all, this is not a transplant, the eyes are yours, you have turned on Sharingan, which means that you already have Sharingan Kekkei Genkai. Luhan looked very serious. Uchiha Leiyang said to me, I hope you will marry Uchiha Makoto, because your Sharingan bloodline will never conflict with Uchiha Makoto's bloodline, only fusion, he said. This way maybe you can have children of their own. Quote. Luhan stared blankly at Tsunade. He didn't understand. Tsunade would believe Uchiha Leiyang's heresy. And Uchiha Leiyang is making excuses, can't you feel it? Uchiha Leiyang wants Uchiha Makoto to become Luhan's wife, so as to enhance the power of the Uchiha clan. Is Tsunade stupid? She is not stupid. She was just a little sick and went to the doctor. After all, as Konoha's most powerful medical ninja, she couldn't give birth to a child for Luhan, although it wasn't her problem. Originally, Tsunade wanted to keep this matter in his heart and not tell Luhan. If Uchiha Leiyang went to Luhan directly, he would let Luhan make his own decision, but not long ago, he talked about the topic of adopting a child. This touched Tsunade's heart. An adopted child, no matter who it is someone else's child. From the perspective of human relations, to say that I really don't care, I really want to, and I don't mind at all, is self-deception. If there is a chance for Luhan to have a child of his own, why not? So, you tell me this. Luhan was a little unnatural. After all, it was a very embarrassing thing to discuss with his wife whether or not to marry another woman. What do you mean? Perhaps, if that's the problem, maybe you can have kids of your own, Tsunade said. Marrying a wife just to have children. Isn't that weird? Luhan asked. You don't like Uchiha Makoto? Tsunade asked rhetorically. Luhan hesitated. Actually, You've hesitated. Tsunade interrupted Luhan's words directly, and his face became ugly. You really thought about her a long time ago. Men are really not good things, Luhan looked at Tsunade dumbfounded. What is this for? Is it unreasonable to hesitate? Dig a hole for me to jump in. Is it okay for you to ask? You are fishing law enforcement, you know that. Stop talking. Tsunade pushed Luhan away, rolled over and collapsed, putting on his clothes with a straight face. Luhan tried to speak several times, but was shocked by Tsunade's tough eyes. After Tsunade put on his clothes, he walked downstairs quickly, and there was a tinkling sound from downstairs. Tsunade was cooking, deliberately loud. Angry returns to anger, the meal still has to do. What does she mean? Luhan lay on the collapsed for a long time and thought about it for a long time, but he couldn't understand. The woman's heart was needled at the bottom of the sea, and Tsunade took the initiative to mention it, digging a hole for Luhan again, and getting angry. Luhan was wronged. What did I say? I didn't say anything, okay. Uchiha Leiyang who was picking things up. Really the couple's boat overturned. Of rain, the Omegakure Legion camp. In the northwest corner of the camp, in a forest composed of towering giant trees, Hanzo stood on a sturdy tree branch more than 20 meters above the ground. His black robe shook in the wind, his left hand reflecting the metallic luster rested on the handle of the knife. Hanzo looked at it. Facing the black figure on the opposite side. This is your only chance. You have to understand that compared with financial resources, you can't compare to Konoha. Although you are not inferior to Konoha and Iron Country in terms of military strength, your logistical supplies are too far behind, and you will definitely lose in a protracted war of attrition. Black Zetsu stood on a tree branch more than 10 meters away from Hanzo, and the thick branches hanging down covered most of his body. Hanzo's face was gloomy and uncertain. This is the 5th time Black Zetsu has come to him recently. He doesn't believe Black Zetsu anymore, but Black Zetsu is right. In fact, Hanzo was already heartbroken. But he was afraid that this was a trick that would lead Omegakure into the abyss of doom. I can assure you that the cold light will definitely be drawn to the land of rain, and when you and Onoki raid Konoha, I will provide you with accurate information on the location of the Konoha treasure house. Black Zetsu advised. Chapter 0772-Happy Cooperation. The first time Black Zetsu came to Hanzo, Hanzo rejected Black Zetsu without much thought, and even chased after Black Zetsu. If it wasn't for Black Zetsu's miscalculation of Hengguang's strength, he didn't remind him that there are strong people around Hangguang. To induce Hanzo to attack and kill Hangguang with a lot of money. Hanzo will not end up disabled. Hanzo has a deep hatred for Black Zetsu. As for the raid on Konoha, Hanzo also thought about it. In fact, if Onoki came to Hanzo, Hanzo might have agreed directly, because the enemy of the enemy is a friend. Conspiracy. But Black Zetsu is different, he belongs to a force outside the ninja war. If Hangguang was really led away from Konoha, Hanzo and Onoki raided Konoha, looted the treasure house. What if the news was leaked? Black Zetsu will have the ability to control Hanzo's life and death. If he wants Hanzo to live, he will give Hanzo accurate information. If he wants Hanzo to die, he will directly inform Konoha and let Konoha be prepared. In the latter case, Hanzo and Onoki going to Konoha would be self-inflicted. Hanzo doesn't like this. The feeling of being killed by someone else's master is what worries him the most. Think about it from another perspective. If Hanzo is Black Zetsu, then he will definitely kill both sides. He will draw away the cold light, give Hanzo and Onoki a chance to sneak attack on Konoha, and inform Konoha half a day in advance to prepare. This way, when Hanzo and Onoki arrive at Konoha, they will inevitably cause great casualties to Konoha, but again, because Konoha has prepared in advance, Hanzo and Onoki can enter and destroy, but they have to die inside. Is your hand ready? Black Zetsu sneered grimly, don't you want revenge? Hanzo raised his left hand involuntarily and clenched his fist. This is the puppet arm. A few months ago, after Hanzo had his arm chopped off by Luhan and fled back to a Megakure village, he tried all kinds of secret techniques in hopes of being reborn from the amputated limb, but he couldn't. In the end, he contacted Sunagakure village and asked Chio to help him with a lot of money. Made this puppet prosthesis. Although, Hanzo's current metal left arm is better than before, stronger and harder, and can be used directly as a weapon, which not only restores Hanzo's strength, but even improves it. But, Hanzo will never forget the humiliation Hangguang brought him. The pain of the broken arm was unforgettable. What are you afraid of? Without the cold light of Konoha, there is no opponent who can compete with you. If you join forces with Onoki, as long as you are fast enough not to be surrounded, there is an 80% chance of success. Black Zetsu stared at Hanzo. Hangguang is the enemy of life and death in our black market. Are you still afraid that I will cooperate with him to plot against you? Hanzo remained silent, clenching his fists. I can tell you one thing. Black Zetsu was about to pull out his trump card. Speak, Hanzo said coldly. Do you know this? Black Zetsu took out a large crystal ball from his sleeve, poured chakra into it, and shook it in the half. The crystal ball showed a picture. In the dim environment, his hair was all white. The very old Sarutobi Hiruzen sat cross-legged in front of the brazier. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hanzo blurted out. His face changed dramatically. He wanted to see more clearly. Black Zetsu had already put away the crystal ball. Sarutobi Hiruzen is in the hands of our black market. Black Zetsu said coldly. I hope this will dispel your doubts. Our black market has no possibility of cooperation with Konoha. Konoha is our enemy, your enemy, and Iwagakure. The enemy of the village. We should cooperate. Sarutobi Hiruzen is still and is sealed somewhere in the ninja world by us. I tell you this, you are equivalent to grabbing our handle. You know what I mean. The word handle may not be accurate, but it is true that by letting Hanzo know about this, he will have the means to threaten the black market. If the black market dares against him, he can immediately publicize it. This case, Konoha will go crazy, and they will surely search the black market all over the world, looking for the place to seal Sarutobi Hiruzen. Onoki agreed. Hanzo asked. The first time I found him, he agreed, Black Zetsu said. Okay, I agree too, Hanzo said heavily. I hope you don't make the same mistake last time. The information must be accurate. Happy cooperation. Black Zetsu smiled. Since Kumogakure sent 50 million taels of money, and the 5 ninja knives have been brought back to Kumogakure by Kumogakure messengers. Kumogakure officially started the negotiation process with Kurigakure. This afternoon. Hokage Building, Hokage Office. Luhan was sitting behind the large desk and was looking through the information. There were at least 30 information scrolls piled up on the side of the desk, and Luhan just started to read. These information do not need Luhan's approval, because they are not particularly important. Anbu has already taken care of everything. Luhan just needs to know about it and keep these situations in his mind. Bang! The door was suddenly pushed open. Hatake Sakumo hurried in without saying hello, walked quickly to Luhan, and handed out the scroll. Emergency information. Sent from the land of rain. White Fang's expression. Luhan knew that something had happened, and he quickly took the scroll and opened it. His expression changed drastically. Konoha's second main battle corps was attacked the night before, and more than 300 black-clothed ninjas launched an attack from the north of the camp at 2 a.m. After receiving the news, the Third Corps, which is the horn of the Second Corps, reinforced 1,000 people. The A-level elite troops of the Iron Country Legion also came to help 3 hours after the battle. The melee continued until dawn. All the more than 300 black-clothed ninjas died in the battle, and no one escaped. Our team died in the battle, 637. There were 1,769 wounded, 16 A-level elite troops of the Iron Country were killed and 49 wounded. The Sunagakure puppet army and the First Army of Omegakure village have received information about our attack and are approaching us, and the Second Army is forced to retreat 100 miles. Confirmed by our senior scouts, the more than 300 ninjas who attacked our camp at night are all black market ninjas. Scholar. Intelligence is not complicated. To sum up, the Konoha Second Corps was destroyed, and the black market did it. After reading it, Luhan slapped the scroll on the table and stood up suddenly. Notice of a meeting. Chapter 0773 _ Luhan's suspicion. Hokage Building, Meeting Room. The atmosphere was very depressing. After reading the information, everyone did not show much anger. Instead, they all fell silent, because this time it was not Sunagakure or Omegakure village that had crippled the Second Konoha Corps, but the black market. Konoha is already trying to destroy the black market as much as possible, and he can no longer take revenge. Moreover, this time the black market is full of dead men, and the number is small, only more than 300 people, all of them are dead. The strategic value of the dead is completely higher than that of ordinary ninjas, because their lethality is too strong. They are not afraid of death, and they need to invest more resources in training. The black market is completely harming others and not oneself. What else can you say? How many ninjas are there in the black market? How much power can Uchiha Madara use? Luhan asked himself. He didn't understand why Uchiha Madara was squandering the power of the black market, enough for Konoha to kill. Compared with Konoha in the number of ninjas. Can't kill you. The most terrifying thing about the black market is that they are hidden in the dark, and they are taken out in batches for frontal combat, which simply cannot exert the true power of the black market ninjas. What Luhan didn't know was that Uchiha Madara had given up on the black market. Due to Luhan's black market eradication plan, people are dying in the black market almost every day. Those black market killers who used to rely on the black market for their food are only looking at their immediate interests, chasing and killing black market ninjas all over the world, and using black market ninja heads to exchange money for Konoha. This situation is getting more and more seriously. It is estimated that within half a year, the black market will completely disappear. Instead of waiting for the black market ninjas to be killed one by one, it is better to gather them together and make a big move. 300 dead men in the black market who attacked the Second Konoha Corps at night were already the last force in the black market. After this operation, the black market has existed in name only. Cough. Kaharu Udatane, who was already Hokage's assistant, coughed lightly, breaking the silence, and said solemnly, the Second Corps suffered the most damage because of the previous battle with the Sunagakure puppet troops. There are only more than 2,000 ninjas, and this time more than half of the casualties were taken. There is no strength to fight against the puppet army. I suggest that the second army be broken up into the first and third army, and the second army should be cancelled. Quote. On the front line, it is very dangerous to have a small number of legionaries, and the biggest problem of the second legion now is that there are too many wounded, and the medical ninja must be too busy, so taking care of these wounded is a big problem. You can also recruit some people from the first and third legions and add them to the second legion. The fourth legion will not be considered. Hyuga Huyang said, it is very complicated to break up and reorganize, and the second legion has senior ninjas. When it comes to other legions, the identities are not easy to arrange, and it is easier to maintain the establishment of the second legion. Quote. Actually, the second corps can be merged with the fourth corps, and the fourth corps at the end can be abolished, Homura Mitokado suggested. Everyone, these aren't the most important things, are they? Uchiha Lei Yang glanced at him. After serving as a consultant, he didn't speak so aggressively, and seemed to have a good relationship with other ninjas at the top of Konoha. We can't be resurrected, and the wounded soldiers can't be healed right away, and we are already at a disadvantage in terms of strength. The conference room was quiet again, and what Uchiha Lei Yang said was the key. The second corps was crippled. If Sunagakure or Omegakure did it, it would be okay to say that Konoha died, and they died too, so there would not be a big gap because of this, but this was not the work of the Sand Rain Coalition, but the black market. As a result, Konoha lost a lot, but the Sand Rain Coalition had no losses. We can send the S department to support. Hataki Sakumo said, although there are few people in the S department, they are all elite Jonin, which is enough to close the gap between us and the enemy. Department S is not used like this. They are not suitable for frontal battlefields and are easy to be targeted. However, Konoha village has too little power to use, and the garrison must not be able to move. The rest are the Anbu, Uchiha, Hyuga, and the internal affairs of each tribe. Speaking of which, except for the garrison legion, other formed troops are not suitable for the frontal battlefield. The garrisonable legion is the fundamental strength of the Konoha defense and cannot be moved. Konoha police force can go out to fight, Uchiha Lei Yang said in a vigorous voice. Hyuga Huyang glanced at Uchiha Lei Yang, but this time he did not compete with Uchiha Lei Yang. Compared with the Uchiha Madara clan, the Hyuga clan are good at reconnaissance and defense, so they are not suitable for this reinforcement. Everyone expresses their opinions. In addition to the depression, the atmosphere of this meeting was more dull, and there was no quarrel, because it seemed that no matter how it was arranged, the main reason was that what happened in the Land of Rain this time was big or small. Also small. Although the second army was crippled, the gap between the two sides in terms of total strength was not too big. Konoha felt the pressure, but the pressure wasn't strong enough. If Konoha's second corps was wiped out, the big problem would be big, and Konoha would have to reinforce immediately, but things weren't that serious. Konoha doesn't need to give up either. Whether to reinforce or not, and how to reinforce, all have to be discussed. Luhan kept listening. After the meeting officially started, he didn't speak again. It wasn't that he had no idea, but that he felt that there was a problem. Luhan's angle of thinking about this matter is completely different from others. Others see the black market attack as the black market's counterattack, the black market's revenge. But Luhan didn't think so. Because behind the black market is Uchiha Madara. What is he going to do? What is the purpose of doing this? This is very wrong. Does Uchiha Madara want to defeat Konoha? He won't. He just wanted the ninja world to be more chaotic, and sent 300 black market dead to attack the Konoha frontline army, breaking the balance of the battlefield and causing Konoha to lose the battle. If he let the 300 dead men attack Konoha, just to teach Luhan a lesson, it will not affect the frontline battlefield. Madara, what exactly do you mean? Luhan thought to himself, and he didn't know if he thought too much. Lord Hokage, Inuzuka suddenly looked at Luhan and said solemnly, if you are willing to go to the battlefield in person, you alone can turn the situation around. Luhan was stunned for a moment, and then there was a glint in his eyes. Chapter 0774 What a big hole. Luhan never thought about going to battle by himself, what a big deal. Can it be done? And Konoha needs Luhan to guard, just like Sarutobi Hiruzen back then. Even if he leaves, it must be a secret operation, and the time is very short, not giving the enemy a chance. It's strange that the always conservative Inuzuka actually propose the most radical plan and let Hokage fight in person. Everyone looked at Inuzuka's tears in his 50s, but no one refuted it, because they, like Luhan, did not understand very much. These words came out of the conservative Inuzuka's tears. Tell me what you think. Luhan said. Lord Hokage. Inuzuka got up in tears. I know you are worried that Konoha's safety cannot be guaranteed after you leave, but I feel that Konoha's current defensive strength is enough. At present, Konoha has not only the garrison corps, but also the corps in charge. The Anbu for defense and intelligence processing, the Konoha police force for internal security inspections, the Hyuga clan for surveillance and reconnaissance outside the village, and the S division with exceptional mobility and extraordinary combat power. Quote, as the commander of the garrison corps, Inuzuka has been in charge of Konoha's defense for more than 10 years. It can be said that he is the person who knows the most about Konoha's defense. He knows best what kind of attack Konoha can resist at this moment. When it comes to the strongest power, Anbu Captain White Fang is second only to you. Even in the face of the strongest such as Hanzo, he can handle one or two, and Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, these three Sarutobi Hiruzen the master's direct disciple also stayed in Konoha, and the strength of the three of them cooperated with each other, even surpassing White Fang. So, even if you leave Konoha and Konoha is attacked by Hanzo, he will definitely die here. Inuzuka said with tears in a serious tone, and he was so unsmiling when he wanted to come. He does not mean that. Inuzuka tearfully said that Hanzo attacked Konoha, just as an example, but Luhan suddenly realized, as if. Luhan narrowed his eyes slightly and thought about it. Inuzuka didn't notice the change in Luhan's expression and continued. Lord Hokage has been in danger many times alone, turning the tide for Konoha. With Lord Hokage's strength, if you attack the Land of Rain, lightning strikes the Sunagakur or Omegakure Corps, a knocked back and quickly return to Konoha, I think, no surprises. Quote. After Inuzuka finished speaking, everyone turned their eyes to Luhan's face to see how Luhan decided. Luhan suddenly understood why Inuzuka made such a radical suggestion. Because this is not his idea, but everyone has this idea. Luhan's skills in speed have reached the pinnacle. Contacting Lao Ai to attack Iwagakure is the best example, because Luhan has been in danger alone many times, and he has retreated completely, which makes Konoha executives subconsciously think, if Hengguang comes again, what will happen to the front line of the Land of Rain? But thinking about it is one thing, dare to say it is another. The meeting has been going on for so long, and no one else dared to mention it. On the one hand, they considered that Konoha needs Hengguang to guard, and on the other hand, they were worried about Hengguang's power as Hokage. What are you kidding? You let Hokage go to risk alone. This kind of thing can only be brought up by Hokage himself. Although Luhan is only acting as Hokage, his power is no less than that of Sarutobi Hiruzen back then, and no one will treat him as a young man. That is, Inuzuka tears, he dares to mention anything, dare to say anything, everything is in the interests of Konoha. And, he came up with the idea when Konoha had enough defensive power, which actually doesn't go against his character. Luhan raised his hand, motioned for Inuzuka to sit down in tears, and pondered for a while before turning his head to glance at him and said, "What do you think?" He tried his best to keep his voice calm, not wanting to put pressure on them. Luhan is already in power. As long as he doesn't commit irreparable mistakes, no one can impeach him. Instead, he has to look at his face. He doesn't want these people to speculate too much on their own thoughts, which will affect them. Their words and deeds will also affect Luhan's judgment of their true thoughts. It's possible. Hyuga Huyang nodded first, Lord Lei is not unreasonable, but it makes things simpler. Yeah, Kaharu Udatane also nodded and spoke carefully. As long as Lord Hokage comes and goes quickly enough, there will be no problem, because the speed at which the spies from all sides transmit information cannot be faster than the speed of Lord Hokage. If Lord Hokage can beat the Sand Rain Coalition, maybe he can directly change the situation in the Rain Country and end the war as soon as possible, Homura Mitokado said. Others also spoke up one after another, but they all fully agreed with Inuzuka's proposal, but no one objected. They all thought that I should fight, but they didn't dare to mention it. Luhan thought. The fog in his heart gradually dissipated. Maybe Luhan was too warlike before and a complete lunatic, which makes the current Konoha senior management very natural will think what will happen when Han Guang fights. Konoha executives would think so. Uchiha Madara thinks so too. And Konoha executives didn't know the existence of Uchiha Madara. They didn't know that when Luhan fought Hanzo in the Valley of the End, everything was arranged by Uchiha Madara. Luhan knew. What a big pit. Uchiha Madara, do you want to bury me, or do you want to bury Konoha? Because everything was based on guesswork, Luhan couldn't be sure of Uchiha Madara's true thoughts. Ghost knows, did he want to arrange for someone to kill Luhan who left Konoha, or did he plan to attack Konoha after Luhan left Konoha? Am I thinking too much? Luhan asked himself again. Facing the wily Uchiha Madara, Luhan had to deal with it carefully. If Uchiha Madara had already guessed it, how could Luhan be able to analyze this step? Could it be that he wanted to make Luhan smart but be mistaken by smart? In fact, the situation in the Kingdom of Rain is not yet critical enough to require Luhan to take action. Compared with the crisis brought about by the joining of the three Iwagakure legions last time, it can only be said to be insignificant. In this case, Luhan's personal shot would have unexpected effects. But if Uchiha Madara was involved, could it be that he deliberately gave Luhan a chance to surprise? Luhan has been cheated by Uchiha Madara many times, and he doesn't want to be cheated again. With his fingers tapping on the table subconsciously, Luhan pondered for a long time and finally said, then. Chapter 0775_not Lord Coldlight. Order the First Army and the Third Army, each with 500 people, to be mixed into the Second Army. Luhan ordered continuously. Order Hitaki Taishuo to lead the S Division to the front line of the Country of Rain to support. If you have no other questions, let's break up then. Everyone doubts it. Whether or not Luhan goes to the front line is between the two. If Luhan does not go, no one will think that he is cowardly. Who dares to say that Han Guang's cowardice can be killed directly these days? No one asked Luhan why he chose not to go to the front line. But they can guess that it is nothing more than worrying about Konoha's safety. After all, the storm of his robbery of Iwagakure has not yet passed. At present, the major ninja villages in various countries are very unsafe. Luhan has already set an example. However, they all guessed wrong. Luhan is not worried about Konoha, but he is guessing, what exactly does Uchiha Madara want to do? As long as he doesn't move, arrange it at will, Uchiha Madara will definitely have another move. ... Time flies. Kumogakure Village and Kurigakure Village have reached an agreement. After Lao Ai paid 5 ninja knives, Kurigakure Village stopped military mobilization, shook hands with Kumogakure Village to make peace, and lifted the hostile state. In fact, the country of Kurigakure Thunder is really no good, the distance is far, the supply is difficult, and it is difficult to occupy the land. Lao Ai gave them a step down, and they were not accepted by necessity. The old adage is absolutely true, there are no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. Of course, Lao Ai will not bow his head. Since Kumogakure Kurigakure reached an agreement to shake hands and make peace, the news about Hengguang for peace has gone viral in the ninja world. Yes. It is not Hokage I, the third generation, but Han Guang. The general idea of the rumor is that Han Guang took the 5 ninja knives from the Kurigakure ninja at first, and then he commissioned Kumogakure to send the knives back. Shameless old eye. He must have spread this rumor on his own initiative, hiding the inside story of Kumogakure spending 50 million taels to buy knives. Luhan didn't care much about this, because he had thought at the beginning that Lao Ai might do this, so he asked for a knife for the sky-high price of 10 million. This is equivalent to, he cheated Lao Ai once, and Lao Ai cheated him once again, evenly. Of the Rain Country battlefield, Hitaki Taishuo led the S ninja to come to support. The S division were dispatched this time, mainly because Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru did not come. With the S division of these three people, they could fight head-on with a legion. If they didn't, it would be equivalent to half a large legion. That's enough. In the southeastern part of the Land of Rain, there is a dense forest. Although it was midsummer, the forest was extremely cold and humid, and the humidity was very heavy. The 32 ninjas in the S department, all wearing shoji robes and hats, galloped away under the leadership of Hitaki Taishuo. Hitaki Taishuo was a young ninja about 20 years old, with long black hair and white eyes, but he was a genius ninja of the Hyuga clan. This person's identity is unusual. He is the young patriarch of the Hyuga branch, the youngest son of the main clan patriarch Hyuga Huyang, and the younger brother of the main clan patriarch Hyuga Hazashi. The Hyuga brothers have been exceptionally talented since childhood, but their rise was relatively late, and it was not until the past 2 years that their strength began to grow rapidly. In the talented S department, their strength is enough to rank in the top 10, and their talent on Byakugan is extremely high. Horrible. Since joining the S division, Hyuga Hazashi has been the #1 scout of the S division, and can be regarded as one of Hitaki Taishuo's right-hand man. Everyone ran wild in the forest. This time, their mission was to loot the supply convoy sent from Sunagakure village to Omegakure village. This was their first operation in the Land of Rain, and they had already obtained accurate information about the enemy's supply convoy. Running, Hyuga Hazashi folded his hands together, wrinkles appeared around his eyes, Byakugan appeared. Hyuga Hazashi glanced at it and immediately raised his hand and pointed, over there. 8 kilometers away, be careful, there are more than 100 ninjas secretly following half a kilometer behind the convoy. They are the puppet masters of Sunagakure village. Accelerate. Hitaki Taishuo beckoned and shouted. 8 kilometers passed in a blink of an eye. Hyuga Hazashi made several investigations and determined the location of the Sunagakure puppet brigade secretly escorting the convoy. Hitaki Taishuo thought about it and decided to first raid the Sunagakure puppet brigade, and then hijack the convoy. The ninjas who secretly escorted the supply convoy this time are from the 6th Brigade of the Sunagakure Puppet Master Army. The purpose of secret escort is to add an extra layer of insurance to the convoy. Once the convoy is robbed, they can hide in the dark and launch a surprise attack. Let's have a big play where the mantis catches the cicada and the oriole. However, unfortunately, they met the S department and met the Hyuga ninja. The screams of killing in the forest suddenly started, and then there was a continuous roar. Sunagakure puppet army, which was suddenly attacked, killed and injured nearly half of the ninjas under the first wave of attack from the S department. Then they also launched a counterattack. The ordinary Chunin puppet master can channel 2 or 3 low-level puppets. Control operations, and powerful Jonin puppet masters, some channel out 4 or 5 puppets to fight, or only control one particularly powerful puppet to fight. When fighting a puppet master, the one who has the advantage in numbers is always the puppet master. 50 or 60 puppet masters can summon more than 100 puppets. Including the puppet masters themselves, there are more than 200 combat units. However, the advantage in numbers cannot make up for the huge gap in strength. The first stage of the battle was quickly over, and the entire puppet master brigade was wiped out, while no one was killed in the S division, and only a few suffered minor injuries. As soon as the battle took place, the 300 ninjas escorting the supply convoy heard the movement, fled quickly, and chose to leave separately. After the battle was over, Hitaki Taishuo ordered his troops to pursue them in 3 directions. Hyuga Hazashi followed Hitaki Taishuo and used Byakugan many times to determine the escape route of the convoy. He glanced again, and he suddenly called out with a loud, "Ah!" sound, which startled Hatake Taishuo. "What's the matter?" Hatake Taishuo hurriedly asked. His whole body tightened, and he shouted abnormally, "Did he see Hanzo?" "Lord Hokage, Lord Hokage. I see Lord Hokage over there," Hyuga Hazashi said excitedly. "Teacher." Hatake Taishuo was stunned for a moment, then he was a little excited. "Teacher is here. What is he going to do again?" "It's not Lord Hengguang." Hyuga Hazashi pointed to the northwest. "It's Lord Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third generation." Chapter 0776_You Still Not Coming. In the dense forest composed of rain willow trees, the unique trees of the land of rain, the huge canopy covers the sky and the sun. Because it is a rainy day, the dark clouds block the sunlight, and the forest is extremely dark. Sarutobi Hiruzen, wrapped in black robes and a hat, stood under the tree with blank eyes, motionless. Rain Willow Forest is 6 kilometers to the southeast. "It's Sir Sarutobi Hiruzen." Hyuga Hazashi's voice was already screaming, and the voice was not only heard by Hatake Taishuo on the side, but also by the other ninjas who were about to spread out and haven't gone far. The 4 words Sarutobi Hiruzen, no matter what time of day, sounded piercing. "Sir Sarutobi Hiruzen. Lord Hokage. What did you see?" Unbelievable voices sounded around one after another. Hatake Taishuo stared at Hyuga Hazashi like lanterns, and squeezed Hyuga Hazashi's shoulders with his hands. "What did you say you saw?" "You are saying it again." "Sir Sarutobi Hiruzen, it's over there, 6 kilometers away, right there." Hyuga Hazashi stared at the direction of Yuliu Forest. He no longer considered whether to save the chakra, but instead urged Byakugan with all his strength before the loss, thinking. "Look more closely and clearly. You read that right? You're not going to be blind, are you? Sir Sarutobi Hiruzen is still alive." People flickered to Hyuga Hazashi's side and asked, also very excited. Part S are all young ninjas and geniuses. Many of them aspire to become Hokage when they grow up. Sarutobi Hiruzen has been on the position of Hokage when they were young. For many of them, Sarutobi Hiruzen is an idol. The target they are chasing is the existence they admire. Their worship of Sarutobi Hiruzen has not weakened because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's disappearance. Even if the entire ninja world believes that Sarutobi Hiruzen is probably dead, the emotion of worship is getting stronger and stronger. After all, dead people are more likely to become legends and myths in people's hearts. Others asked Hyuga Hazashi, not because they didn't trust his abilities, but because they couldn't believe it was true. "It's really Hokage-sama, I can't read it wrong," Hyuga Hazashi screamed, then turned into a glimpse, and went straight to Sarutobi Hiruzen's direction. He couldn't wait any longer. Compared with Sarutobi Hiruzen, this mission will become insignificant, and whether it can be completed or not has become irrelevant. Follow up. Hatake Taishuo didn't think much, and immediately shouted, "Notify others, give up the mission." There were bursts of shouts and strange whistles in the forest. This was a way to notify the gathering. The whistle was sharp and could travel far. When those ninjas from the S department who had run far heard it, they would all give up. Task, which returns a collection. Soon, all members of the S department gathered together in batches, and all ran wildly in the direction of Yuliu Forest. Hatake Taishuo was the fastest, but he didn't know the exact location of Sarutobi Hiruzen or the situation of Sarutobi Hiruzen, so he had to run with him after catching up with Hyuga Hazashi. He needs Hyuga Hazashi's eyes. Not long after, the two entered the Yuliu Forest. Boom _. A strong chakra wave suddenly erupted in the forest, as if something had exploded. In Hyuga Hazashi's eyes, a water polo appeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and then burst. The water polo exploded into a dense fog, and it exploded in one breath. It covers a radius of 100 meters. The fog is too thick. Even Byakugan of Hyuga Hazashi couldn't see through it. He saw through the thick fog. Every drop of water in the thick fog would turn into a black dot, densely packed, blocking everything. After a minute. According to what Hyuga Hazashi said, Hatake Taishuo led him into the thick fog, drew his knife instantly, rolled his arms at extreme speed, and directly set off a gust of wind in the thick fog, blowing the thick fog away. People are gone. Hyuga Hazashi was stunned for a moment, and immediately pushed Byakugan with all his strength to observe the entire forest. Really disappeared, completely disappeared. Hyuga Hazashi can no longer see the trace of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Where are the people? Hatake Taishuo snapped. I don't know what he is angry about. Is he anxious about the disappearance of Sarutobi Hiruzen? Still suspecting that Hyuga Hazashi read it wrong and delayed the mission. What is that? Hyuga Hazashi seemed to have found something, didn't answer Hatake Taishuo, but took 2 steps to the grass under the tree, and took out a jade pendant from the grass. Fire Yuhi-colored jade pendant, roughly diamond-shaped, with the Konoha ninja logo on the front and a fire character on the back. It was left by Hokage-sama. Hyuga Hazashi said, very sure, because he was sure that he had read it right, and it must be Sarutobi Hiruzen here. Hatake Taishuo didn't say anything. Although this thing seems to be a Konoha item, it is not an official certificate produced by Konoha. If it really belongs to Sarutobi Hiruzen, it can only be said to be Sarutobi Hiruzen's personal belongings. Hatake Taishuo doesn't have much about this. To understanding. If someone like Kaharu Udatane is here, it's sure to be confirmed, because they often touch Sarutobi Hiruzen and know what Sarutobi Hiruzen has with them. The other ninjas from the S department arrived one after another. Under the arrangement of Hatake Taishuo, everyone conducted a large-scale search in the forest, but no trace of Sarutobi Hiruzen was found. Rain Willow Forest. I don't know how deep the ground is, so the underground stone room has not been opened for a long time. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood in the middle of the stone room with blank eyes. The black and white Jew stood beside him, and the old Uchiha Madara was behind him. He came in person to prevent uncontrollable accidents from happening. Uchiha Madara raised his right hand and put his 2 fingers on the back of Sarutobi Hiruzen's head. The power of yin and yang escaped from his fingertips instantly, cracking the demonic illusion of Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. Sarutobi Hiruzen's consciousness was shocked, and he fainted. White Zetsu separated from his body and disappeared into the underground stone room. After a full 3 hours, he returned to the stone room and said to Madara, "They have already left." Hatake Taishuo decided to return to Konoha to report the situation in person. Okay, Uchiha Madara responded calmly, and then the corners of his mouth evoked a sinister arc. Before giving Hangwang a chance, Hangwang didn't come to the country of rain. Uchiha Madara doesn't believe it anymore. Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared in the country of rain. You still haven't come. Chapter 0777 _ He is really alive. Discovery of Sarutobi Hiruzen was strictly kept secret by the S department. They were afraid that after the news spread, Sunagakure and Omegakure would take action. After taking people back to the Second Army, Hatake Taishuo had a secret discussion with the commander of the Second Army, then took Hyuga Hazashi and left, heading straight for Konoha. Reason why he brought Hyuga Hazashi is because this matter needs to be reported by Hyuga Hazashi in person, everything he saw with his own eyes, and considering that Hyuga Hazashi is not fast enough, this matter needs to be known to Konoha as soon as possible, so Hatake Taishuo has to return in person. Take Hyuga Hazashi at your own pace. Just 10 minutes after Hatake Taishuo and Hyuga Hazashi left, the commander of the 2nd Konoha Corps activated the Asuka Ninja Beast, and a little gray bird flew away from the camp and went straight to Konoha village with the information. There are very few Asuka Ninja Beasts that Konoha can use to transmit information. Only the information of 100,000 fires, or some very special information, will use Asuka Ninja Beast to transmit information. Finding out about Sarutobi Hiruzen was absolutely urgent. 1 day later. The Land of Fire, the hidden village of Konoha. In the Hokage office in the Hokage building, Luhan sat behind his desk, leaned back on the chair, and looked at Tsunade helplessly. Tsunade sat sideways on the desk, condescendingly, looked down at Luhan, squinting slightly, his face full of threats. Look, you don't mention this, I don't mention it, we can pretend it didn't happen, why did you come to tell me again, what are you doing? Luhan spread his hands to Tsunade. HMPH. You don't mention it, but you keep thinking about it, don't think I don't know. Tsunade snorted coldly. Just find fault. The couple's boat not only overturned, but also couldn't be lifted back. Did Uchiha Lei-young find you again? Luhan asked with a sigh. So what? Tsunade was beginning to be unreasonable. Please, he's looking for you, why don't you get mad at him? Why do you have to come to me? I said eldest sister, you are my eldest sister, just let me go. Luhan raised his hand in surrender. What do you call me? What do you call me eldest sister? Tsunade's voice suddenly rose an octave, do you think I'm old? Do you think I'm not as cool as I used to be? Uchiha Makoto is a little girl, what does she know? You. Luhan got dressed. Completely served. What the fuck is this logic? Luhan could see that Tsunade was here to make trouble without reason. Women, no matter what kind of woman they are, they will make trouble without reason. It's against you. Luhan suddenly stood up, hugged Tsunade and pressed it on the table, blocking her mouth. Tsunade struggled for a while, then responded to Luhan with anger and obedience. Hugging with one hand he held Luhan's neck and pinched the soft flesh under Luhan's waist with one hand. This woman is schizophrenic. Call _ wind. The sound of the wind when a small gray bird flew into the office through the skylight. The bird landed directly on the pen holder on the desk, and then the doctor who was, chirp, exploded with hair all over his body, small black eyes flickering dull light. It has wisdom. It speaks human language. It's already bewildered. The sky is bright and the sun is shining, you are actually in the office. Is this really good? You humans are disgusting. Luhan noticed that a small thing had entered the office, so he let go of Tsunade unhurriedly. Tsunade looked back and stared at him. The frightened gray bird shuddered, then leaned back and landed on the ground with a dong sound. Into the pen holder. Tsunade glared at Luhan again, tidied up his clothes, and jumped off the desk. Cough. Where did you come back from? Luhan asked with a light cough. Second Legion. The little gray bird flew out of the pen holder and came to Luhan's face. Lord Hokage, urgent information. It opened its mouth and spat out a very small information scroll. Luhan's pupils shrank when he saw the scroll. It's not the size of the scroll, but the seal on it. People who know how to solve this kind of seal don't have more than 5 in the entire Konoha. Even the captain of Anbu, White Fang, doesn't know, because the intelligence scrolls with this kind of seal are all delivered directly to Hokage. After Luhan officially became Hokage, Kaharu Udatane told him about the technique of lifting the seal. Anyone who can send out a scroll of information with such a seal is the commander of the Konoha Corps. If the seal is forcibly broken, the scroll will directly self-destruct. What happened? A bad feeling rose in Luhan's heart. Luhan put the small scroll on the table and quickly hand seal. After the seal was opened, the capsule-sized scroll rose up with white smoke. It got bigger in an instant. Luhan quickly opened the scroll and looked. Sir Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared in the Yuliu forest in the southeastern part of the Land of Rain, and then disappeared without a trace. The S-Division investigator Hyuga Hazashi saw it with his own eyes, and the S-Division commander Hataki Taishuo has brought Hyuga Hazashi back and will report the details in person. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan's heart shook, and he stood up suddenly. Although this is just an advance notice without any details, the fact that Sarutobi Hiruzen is still alive is enough. He really didn't die. What's wrong? Tsunade saw that something was wrong with Luhan, and asked hastily, what happened to the Land of Rain? Luhan didn't seem to hear Tsunade's words, and still stared at the scroll. Tsunade didn't come forward and take the initiative to see it. Although she was Luhan's wife, because of her position, if Luhan didn't want to tell her some information, she couldn't force her. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan repeated the name in his heart. His mood was very complicated. He had guessed for a long time that Sarutobi Hiruzen might still be alive. The location of Luo's final decisive battle has not been found, and it is strange. From the perspective of Luhan's personal emotions and interests, he hopes that Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead. When you die, you die. But he is still alive. And Luhan can already confirm that Sarutobi Hiruzen is in the hands of Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara, you really wanted to lead me to the land of rain, but you brought Sarutobi Hiruzen out, hehe. Luhan thought for a long time before looking up at Tsunade. What's wrong? Tsunade asked again immediately. Luhan didn't speak, but handed the scroll directly to Tsunade. Chapter 0778 had to go. Tsunade took the scroll and looked at it, then his face froze. She knew that this was an extremely important piece of information, and that something had happened on the front line of the Land of Rain, but she never thought that this piece of information was about Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was still alive. Tsunade's feelings for Sarutobi Hiruzen are very complicated. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen, as Tsunade's teacher, taught Tsunade since childhood, instructed her to grow up, and solved her doubts. Tsunade admired Sarutobi Hiruzen very much, even if she had a conflict with Sarutobi Hiruzen because of Luhan, this admiration did not decrease. Since Luhan told him the truth that the Senju family had turned from prosperity to decline, Tsunade's feelings for Sarutobi Hiruzen had changed. The truth is extremely cruel. Sarutobi Hiruzen's extremely noble image in Tsunade's letter has collapsed, leaving only the conflicting feeling of disgust or heartache. Tsunade also didn't speak for a long time, until he calmed down, then raised his head and said, "Are you going to the Land of Rain to find him?" "I have to go," Luhan replied. Although the questions and answers between the two were brief, they had mixed emotions that were unclear. Tsunade wanted Luhan to go find Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Luhan wanted to go looking for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Neither of them said anything. Luhan took the scroll back from Tsunade's hand, then turned his head and said to the window, "Notify a high-level meeting, right away." After half an hour. Konoha's third meeting room, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyang, Uchiha Leiyang, Hitaki Sakumo and others have all arrived, and Inuzuka Tears is the last to enter. Because Luhan had been expressionless, and when the others didn't know what was going on, they didn't speak after entering the door. Meeting. After the door was closed, Luhan knocked on the table, took out the scroll, and handed it to Kaharu Udatane, motioning her to pass it to the next person after reading it. "What? Hiruzen he?" Kaharu Udatane looked at the scroll and exclaimed. "Master Hokage is still alive." "Ha ha ha, that's great. If you get back the third generation, Konoha will have the strength to quickly calm down the troubled world." I didn't expect. Everyone's reaction was the same as when Luhan first saw the scroll. Although the expression was different, there was no difference in the inner vibration. Hitaki Tai Shuo hasn't returned yet. According to his speed, it is estimated that it will take at least a day. The scroll was finally passed back to Luhan, who said with a serious expression, "However, we can already start preparations. No matter whether Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen whether it is controlled by the hands of others, coerced into involuntary, or caught in some kind of predicament, we should all discuss a way out." Quote. Luhan's words were very clever. He didn't say go to Sarutobi Hiruzen, but said to discuss a solution. "Lord Hokage, this time you should do it yourself." Kaharu Udatane immediately said, "You are not only the most powerful ninja in Konoha today, but also the ninja with the strongest tracking ability. Lord Hiruzen is your teacher, you should treat him well. The breath is very familiar, you are the most suitable for finding Hiruzen-sama." Luhan didn't say to find Sarutobi Hiruzen, but Kaharu Udatane took it for granted that Luhan would go, and Luhan should go. There should be no better way to do this than Lord Hengwang himself. Homura Mitokado followed. "I think it should be so. If I can find Lord Hokage, it will be a great thing for me, Konoha." Homura Mitokado goes a little too far. Kaharu Udatane just spoke, and they called Luhan Lord Hokage and Sarutobi Hiruzen as Lord Hiruzen. She clearly distinguished who was Hokage now, but Homura Mitokado directly called Luhan Lord Hangwang, and said Sarutobi Hiruzen was Hokage. I don't know if he did it on purpose. Or does he think that Sarutobi Hiruzen can definitely be retrieved, and that Sarutobi Hiruzen will be back at the helm of Konoha? Will this generation of Hangwang Hokage retire directly? Homura Mitokado said it quite naturally, but Kaharu Udatane looked at him anyway and gave him a wink. Luhan remained calm and continued to listen to his opinions. Should go, White Fang said. Not just Lord Hokage, Anbu should go too. The candidate for this mission is none other than Lord Hokage. Inuzuka Tears directly defined this as a task that must be done. Retrieving the 3 generations of adults is the top priority, and other matters can be put aside for the time being. Agreed. Hyuga Huyang just said 2 words. In fact, his heart is also very complicated. Sarutobi Hiruzen is back. Who will be in charge of Konoha then? Hangwang is his niece-in-law. Only Uchiha Leiyang didn't speak, didn't say a word, and he didn't say anything when others looked at him. He was the one who didn't want Sarutobi Hiruzen back, and even wished Sarutobi Hiruzen died. There is no doubt that Uchiha Leiyang will have to step down directly from the top as soon as Sarutobi Hiruzen returns to power. This is the attitude of the high-level ninjas in Konoha. Except for the special case of Uchiha Leiyang, everyone else thinks that to find Sarutobi Hiruzen, Luhan must do it, and Luhan is the most suitable. That's why Luhan told Tsunade that he had to go, at that time. Because he thought of it at the time, Konoha executives will definitely have this attitude. This attitude is not right. From a rational point of view, Luhan also thinks it is right. It should be, but Luhan knows that this is Uchiha Madara's conspiracy. Uchiha Madara's shot is very ruthless this time. He was using his strength to force Luhan to go to the Land of Rain with the will of Konoha's top management. Luhan can choose not to go, but he has to consider the consequences. Sarutobi Hiruzen is not only Hokage of the 3rd generation, but also the name of Mr. Luhan. If Luhan does not go, he will definitely be labeled as disloyal and unfilial, and it will also make Konoha high-level officials who have supported him unanimously disagree. Even if this matter is known to the Konoha people, and someone secretly fuels the flames, Luhan's positive image in Konoha for many years will be severely hit. Because this thing involves Sarutobi Hiruzen. So Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Inuzuka Tears, Hitaki Sakumo, Hyuga Huyang. These people dare to tell Luhan directly to let him go. And they all take it for granted. Madara, why are you so sharp every time you make a move? How can you be deceived by Black Zetsu with such an IQ? Luhan tapped on the table subconsciously with his fingers, and a flame rose in his heart. Since you were making a big move, blame me for going to extremes, Uchiha Madara, and I'll let you know the consequences. Chapter 0779_Force vs. Wisdom. It takes many years and many things to build up a positive image of great prestige. Luhan can have today's status, and today's prestige is achieved by going up and down the mountain of swords and the sea of fire. And to ruin it all, it only takes one thing. The human heart is so strange. A person who has done good deeds all his life and committed a great evil at the end of his life will be regarded as a sinister person who is more terrifying than the real great villain. But if a wicked person suddenly starts doing good deeds, he will be regarded as a prodigal son, who will return from his lost path, and may even be praised. It is not easy for a good person to become a Buddha. He needs to go through countless difficulties and tests before he can become a Buddha. It is easy for the wicked to become a Buddha, it is enough to put down the butcher's knife. Luhan now feels very disgusting. Because he was forced to do nothing. It is impossible for him to give up all this because he is worried that Sarutobi Hiruzen will come back and seize power, but he does not want to make Uchiha Madara happy, he wants to fight back. In fact, compared to conspiracy and trickery, Luhan is always at a disadvantage to Uchiha Madara, because Uchiha Madara is hidden in the dark, and he doesn't care about anything. Even if you kill the Uchiha clan, he will not feel any distress. But Luhan is different, he is in the bright place, and he still has a lot of concerns. But Luhan has the same advantage that Uchiha Madara cannot compare. He has force. He can kill. Uchiha Madara's advantage lies in wisdom and strategy, while Luhan's advantage lies in strength and courage. This is the showdown between strength and wisdom. Cough. Luhan coughed lightly and said slowly, I will go to Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen in person, and at the same time, after I reach the Land of Rain, I will create more trouble for Sunagakure and Omegakure and gain an advantage for us. No delay, but I can't go on the road yet, I need to wait for Hitachi Taishuo and Hyuga Hazashi to come back, explain the specific situation at that time, and prevent fraud. Quote. There is nothing wrong with what Luhan said, and he has to wait for Hyuga Hazashi to report back. Kaharu Udatane breathed a sigh of relief. She was really worried just now that Han Guang would refuse to go to Sarutobi Hiruzen on the grounds of guarding Konoha. After all, before Sarutobi Hiruzen disappeared, his conflict with Han Guang was already open to the top of Konoha. With this layer of contradiction, Han Guang also considered his current interests, that is, the position of Hokage, and the possibility of refusing to look for it is very high. Unexpectedly, he didn't say a word of nonsense and agreed directly. Kaharu Udatane glanced at Luhan again, and she found that Han Guang is really a very good Hokage. He doesn't care about the overall situation for his own selfishness. If he stays the same, it will take 10 years or so, he will be regarded as a great existence. Let's discuss. After I left Konoha, Konoha's defensive arrangement was adjusted. Luhan raised a new issue. He is really going. The Land of Rain is a must. But instead of looking for Sarutobi Hiruzen, it depends on Luhan's thoughts. Anyway, he has already planned to act alone. No one knows what he is going to do. And after Luhan left, the possibility of Konoha being attacked was as high as 50%. Uchiha Madara dug such a big hole, so he must do something. Attacking Konoha is on the one hand, and Luhan himself will be attacked on the other hand. Luhan has already planned to let go. It is Hokage's duty to protect Konoha, but is Konoha dead if he leaves Luhan? Of course not. The background of Konoha is very scary. Luhan has already prepared that Konoha will be attacked and will die after he leaves. War, it will definitely kill people. The difference is who will die. As long as Tsunade and the others are okay, Luhan doesn't have much concerns. One day later, Hitachi Taishuo took Hyuga Hazashi back to Konoha, and went straight to the mansion in the forest, but Luhan was not at home, so they rushed to the Hokage building immediately, and only then did they see Luhan in the Hokage office. Luhan did not directly listen to Hyuga Hazashi's report, but notified the meeting. The third meeting room. Both Hitachi Taishuo and Hyuga Hazashi were present, and Hyuga Huyang was also there as a consultant. The father and son attended the top-secret Konoha high-level meeting at the same time, which is very rare in the history of Konoha. Hyuga Hazashi told the situation of that day in front of everyone, because his Byakugan can see through, so he can also explain the specific situation of Sarutobi Hiruzen at that time. Example, Sarutobi Hiruzen is extremely old, in his 40s, he looks like he is in his 60s or 70s. Also, Sarutobi Hiruzen has special chakra gatherings on his feet. From the nature of chakra, it is suspected of some kind of sealing technique. And, Hyuga Hazashi took out the jade pendant that appeared under the tree after Sarutobi Hiruzen disappeared. Because everything was seen by Hyuga Hazashi, others could not testify, so this jade pendant became the only evidence that Sarutobi Hiruzen really appeared. Luhan got the jade pendant, and chakra probed it. It was just a very high-quality ornament, and it had no special properties, not a ninja tool. He immediately handed the jade pendant to Kaharu Udatane. Kaharu Udatane frowned. She has never seen it. Isn't this Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hyuga can't lie, at best it's wrong. Inform Lord Biwahu to come here. Luhan greeted outside the door. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen disappeared, his wife, Sarutobi Bawako, has lived a secluded life. She rarely sees anyone and never shows up in public. She didn't even show up for Luhan's contemporary Hokage. She hides at home and grieves alone. Being informed, Sarutobi Bawako quickly came to the third meeting room. When she got the jade pendant, she immediately covered her mouth and cried. It's Sarutobi Hiruzen, S. The attitude of Sarutobi Lake Biwa has said it all. In fact, this jade pendant is not only for Sarutobi Hiruzen, but also carved by Sarutobi Lake Biwa to give him a few years ago. Since it was given to him by his wife, Sarutobi Hiruzen has always been worn on the body, so Kaharu Udatane has never seen it before. Sarutobi Hiruzen has this jade pendant. Is he dead? You have found him, right? Is he dead? Sarutobi Bawako asked in tears and panic. She didn't know the situation, and no one had told her before. No, he's still alive. Luhan said. He appeared in the land of rain, left this jade pendant and disappeared again. I'll go find him. Chapter 0780 _ The Land of the Rain. It has been confirmed that Sarutobi